You wanna take a look at the nice little patch of say hi, Duncan. Say hi, baby. Yeah. Seems as good a way to spend time as anything else, I guess. We're just waiting on Miss Kitty Cat to get here. Are we doing a reading today? I don't know if we're doing a reading today. She said something about wanting to find a place where she is in the book, and it occurs to me that I'm not sure we were going to do a reading today. I thought we were going to talk about, nihilism, because this is the support live for my video that I made. I hope everybody watched it. I hope everybody liked it who watched it. It made me laugh anyway. Like, sincerely. I can't help but make fun of nihilists. Sometimes they are so serious, and it just is so ridiculous. It gets to be so melodramatic and so, oh, and it's just like, please, please, please. You're actively ignoring things that could make your life better, but don't listen to me. I guess what business is it of mine? It just seems like the coward's way out. Oh, there is no meaning there. I can stop looking now. No, 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 no. I apologize if anybody hears any saws in the background while we're doing this today, because the city is here and you can see the pretty trees way off in the distance there, and the city is here and they are cutting them. Presumably to keep them from falling on people's houses, but it is loud, unfortunately for us. And I'm just sure Kitty Cat is going to be here any minute. Anyways, I don't know if everybody watched the Nihilism video. I had a video premiere about an hour ago. And if you haven't seen it, you should go and watch it and come back. I'll forgive you, I promise. It's a bit of a longer one, about 45 minutes, a little less. A little under 45 minutes this month, because I wanted to, really give our representative of nihilism the opportunity to make her case. And it is a silly one. Yeah, so everybody should go and watch my video about nihilism. Oh, good, Kitty Cat's here. Hello, Kitty Cat.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm trying to get this worked out.
Okay.
The cat keeps trying to sit on it.
Oh, they'll do that. I'll be honest, I wasn't sure we were reading this morning anyway, because I thought we were gonna, talk about nihilism. I don't know if we're gonna spend 2 hours.
But
yeah, I don't know if that's gonna take the whole time.
Not very long.
Oh, okay.
So, because it didn't finish off the last chapter, that's why I thought we were going back to this, because it's not that much longer before the chapter ends. So we can do both. We can have discussion first. We can read first. What do you want to?
Let's do the discussion first. While it's hot in everybody's mind, and the reading is not going anywhere, right?
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, I tried
to grab something. Hold on. I'm just gonna see about something. Hold on, give me a sec here.
Okay. The technical difficulties on. It's funny.
Hello?
Hello? Oh,
Hello?
good. Yeah. Hi.
Hold on, I'm just trying. Give me a sec here.
Okay.
Hello?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was gonna try to put on my my earphones, because last time I noticed that it's hard to hear because I'm over here a little bit. I'm a little bit away from the speaker, so I thought maybe if I can see if the microphone will work on these, but it just almost kicked me out once I put that in. So
Oh.
we're gonna just do away with them. So never mind. Back as we were. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, anyways, I don't know if this is ironic or not, but consider this fate. I found the perfect music to go under this, and not only was it exactly what I was looking for, like musically, it was also this old, almost, it sounded like an MP3 it was 17 years old on YouTube that was compressed within an inch of its life, and I just went, oh, I won't have to adjust the volume at all. And I didn't. And it saved me 2 days worth of editing, I swear to God. It was meant to be.
Yay!
Which sounds like deriving meaning from something that I did, or reading meaning into something that I did, or whatever, which obviously is against the nihilistic creed.
Well, what's funny is that she even contradicts herself. She's like, and there's meaning in that. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
To what he's doing. I'm like, I thought there was no meaning.
Right. There's meaning in acknowledging.
She didn't even catch that. I can't believe she didn't even catch that.
This is literally her gig. Yeah, it's her gig, is talking about nihilism from every imaginable angle.
I know, but like you skipped obviously making writing it out, or you're not incredibly bright, because you literally just contradict yourself by applying meaning to what he was doing.
Right. Well, and that was the irony of his entire life, right? He walked the walk, right? He lived by his philosophy and embodied his own, as if they meant something to him, because a real nihilist would say all this shit and then do whatever the fuck they wanted in the moment because none of it matters, right?
Or just lay down and die more than anything.
Yeah, that guy really should have. That really seemed to be his bag, his thing,
right?
His
it was
idea.
his jam.
Yeah.
His jam. And the antlers was taking me out.
The bit
the analogy with the antlers was totally it got me, man. Like it was really dumb.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this dude before, right?
I've never had either, but he fits right in next to like Camus and Sartre and all the rest of them. He does.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
And like the bit where she said how the elk fastens himself to something solid. And I'm like, you mean like his fucking antlers? Are you serious with this right now?
Yeah. What the fuck, dude?
That part just kept getting funnier and funnier and funnier every time I watched it.
Oh my God, it was hilarious. I've never heard this dude before, so I've never heard this like apply to nihilism, but I'm like, what the fuck?
No, and the thing
is why he's not very famous in that like sort of field.
Oh, he's definitely influential though, because I've definitely heard these ideas before.
I've never heard of antlers.
And
the antler thing.
I've definitely heard the antler thing, but like everything else, the idea that like our awareness is like maladaptive and we're slowly killing ourselves because we're too aware of our own existence. Man, it's like I'm 14 and this is deep. Truly.
Yeah. It really is. Because you're equating awareness to like what, sadness and depression? Why?
Like, that was why I had to like reach a little bit and bring a couple of threads together there, because I just happened, somebody else, the other girl just had a video up the same week. And I watched the two of them almost back to back. And I was like, it's funny because it sounds like these two women are talking about the same thing. And one of them is really sad about it. And the other one is super happy about it. And I'm just... But that was why I went for Brit, was because honestly, that video followed me around for days after I watched it. She made me so sad. I'm like, that woman is so sad. I feel so bad for her that she believes all that shit.
Well, it's interesting that the assumption that people are just too need to like, they can't withstand the depression that this weirdness comes from. It's like, dude. I'm like, girl, no, that's a you problem. I'm fully aware that, like, I'm not religious. I don't hold on to any of that.
Mm-hmm.
When my body's functionality stops working, so does my consciousness. I'm fine with that, and I'm happy because because there is meaning in the now, right now.
Right.
I'm sorry that you don't find it. Maybe you should talk to a psychiatrist about that.
Right.
Nothing
But
to
no,
do
no,
with
no, no,
logic.
no. It's like I say, that I think projecting this onto everyone else makes her feel like the smartest person in the room.
It helps. It gives her this sort of a
That
superiority complex kind of a thing, out of
right,
an inferiority complex.
right. That she's the one who can see this and sit with it and doesn't look away.
And no one,
You
but
know.
no one else can really withstand it other than her.
Right.
She really
Her
gets it.
and
Yeah,
her.
it's giving. I'm a 15-year-old and super deep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's very high school goth.
it is very high school goth. Yeah,
Yeah.
or more high school emo girl.
And I mostly tried to come for the ideas that she was, saying, not her personally, you know,
Yeah,
aside from saying that she's obviously projecting and that maybe her search for meaning has been fruitless. And so she just figures there isn't any and is looking for reinforcement of that. But yeah, I didn't want to go mean girl on her in the video, but yeah, it's
yeah.
very high
And it was really
school.
silly. It was really silly. Like she
Yeah.
doesn't even comprehend the assumption she's made that equates to depression, and like
No,
it's
yeah.
this void. It's like no, that's an equation that doesn't like actually hold up in factual intellectual knowledge and logic. That's just a feeling that you have. You're probably depressed, and
Right.
maybe you
That
should go see a doctor.
tragic metaphor of this ancient, majestic elk with these antlers that evolved too big for him to carry. Oh, what was him?
Yeah,
Like
because
obscures the fact that
awareness
none of this
is too
makes
heavy.
any logical sense.
Yeah, because awareness is too heavy as well. That's what you're saying, but it's not. You're
Right,
making it
right,
out
right,
to be
right, right,
heavy.
right, 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 right.
You're
Right,
interpreting it as heavy. It's not.
right, right. And I think that, maybe for some people, some kinds of awareness is heavy, but like, I
Yeah.
like I say, then you're going around looking for the antidote to that. You're not just trying to pretend that it doesn't. I don't
Like
know.
certain things I think can be very heavy, but that's if like that has nothing to do with the meaninglessness of it all, but like things like that are actually occurring in the world. And sometimes people cope in that way by ignoring certain things that are participatory in that. I
Mm-hmm.
get that because it's hard to deal with trying to um change that. But
Well,
that's not
like,
what we're even. So there is. I understand the coping aspect and why people do sometimes, and there's something hard to to under like deal with that they try to ignore it and like sort of what's the word I'm looking for try to delay having to deal with something and then by ignoring it and then not looking at it. But awareness just in itself really
right.
that's not heavy really, it's just not. I don't know why you assume that it's gonna be devastation for people. Why is it devastating?
Because
I think
awareness
it's neat.
leads automatically to meaninglessness. That's the assumption. Yes, that's just does not logically
Yeah, but
follow. No, it doesn't.
no, it doesn't. Exactly, you're projecting something onto something that doesn't have any logical connection.
Right.
Why is it meaningless for you? Like why is
And
now
then we're
meaningless
obscuring
for
that
you?
with a tragic ass metaphor.
Yeah, and it's scary with a metaphor of antlers. You just
Yeah. Which, if you buy into the tragedy of this majestic, creature who nature screwed over, then okay. But you have
yeah,
to buy into that, which doesn't make sense from various angles.
yeah, it just doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no.
Ah, my
I think
gosh,
you need to
because
go. I think she needs to go deal with why she feels so destitute and like so void.
right, right.
Feel
But
this
at this
void
point,
inside of her because
she's
that just sounds a
very
little bit like
invested.
depression.
At this point, she's very invested in the idea that nothing means anything. Ironically, it means a lot to her because she's built this,
Yeah,
persona.
exactly. It mean a lot to her because she's like super on it, on
Right, and
this
he
thing
it's
that's
so
not
funny because he
logically.
he talks about how people defend their anchors. She doesn't debate with religious people because it's not really an intellectual debate, and I'm like, and that's exactly why nobody should ever debate nihilism with you, right?
Yeah, right.
Because it's
But what
clearly
about
your
someone
anchor.
who's also not religious?
No, I
Debate me.
know.
I would.
Yeah. No,
I definitely
right.
would though.
Like, no, I don't. She doesn't seem like a debate bro. To be fair, doesn't seem like
No,
she
she
really
doesn't.
does that. Um,
Or even just
No, and
not
that's the
even a debate,
thing.
but having a conversation. Because, like, I would really like to ask her, why does it make you feel fundamentally depressed? The logical conclusion to our death. Like, why is that sad for you? Why does you feel buoyed from that? I think it's kind of cool. When we die, yeah, my consciousness will dissipate, but like I go back into the recycling process with everything else, and just like where I came from.
Okay, because like I say, she's feeding her ego by feeling intellectually superior, so she's not allowed to admit to herself that anything might mean anything.
Yeah, I know.
You deriving, and like Zappa is, like I say, a snake eating its own tail. He is self
Yeah.
contradictory because he says that, did you feel good? No, you didn't. You're coping. You know,
no.
do you think that's kind of a fun idea? Well, then you're hiding from the truth. It's like, but that is the truth, and you're allowed to feel about it however the fuck you want. Like,
exactly. Like that.
And if
like,
that feels like meaning to you, then good for you. I don't understand why it's anybody's place to fucking argue with you about that.
Yeah, I just think that's so funny. That it's so like ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why out of everything that you can, when you logically like understand, without any sort of spiritual religious undertones to it, what's going to happen to you? Why do you go to that dark place? Because that's like,
Because what's the
you're
point of it
linking
all anyway?
because it's something for you, but that doesn't mean the link exists intrinsically, logically, materially.
Right. It's as if the lack of objective meaning makes it all meaningless. Okay? Nothing you can come up with is enough. The fact that there is no objective outside force going to come in and tell you the meaning of your life means that there is none. Which feels very Christian to me.
Yeah. Right.
Which is weird. Yeah. I don't know if I made that point super well in the video, but yeah.
Yeah, no, but I yeah, it's true though.
The more I sat with it, the more I was like,
it's a very Christian, like, it's like someone killed your idol, and
yeah,
now you're sad.
Yeah, it's like, did you grow up Lutheran? Poor baby. Because it wouldn't have been Catholic, because he's Norwegian, Swedish. I don't know. I can't keep him straight. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's all good.
I want to say Norwegian. He was very sad, obviously, as a person.
Just a sad dude.
Well, I have a theory. Which is, I read somewhere that his dad gave him a camera as a kid to try and counterbalance his his short-sightedness.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. Not being able to see will make a person fucking depressed. But then he used to go and climb mountains, and I couldn't find a whole lot of corroboration for the idea that he was legally blind or something, so I didn't run with that, but it's an idea, Blind people can climb mountains. I looked it up. You take a guide.
See, but that just shows too that he had meaning. There was meaning to what he was doing.
Right.
He just couldn't, I don't know, comprehend what enjoyment is.
Right. No, he was trapped in his own ego, just like British. Yeah. And probably the same way, which is why she related to it so much, and why that essay about meaninglessness clearly meant so much to her. And I just don't.
I know the walking contradictory. I know. It's a walking contradictory, really.
To build your whole persona around something that is so... What is that?
I don't know. Emo. It's like the next level emo stage.
No, to build your entire persona around something that contradicts itself, right down the middle like that. Well, how? How? What is that?
Is it cognitive dissonance? I'm not really.
Yeah, but
it sort of.
No, yeah, but it's like your entire worldview is built around this one kernel of cognitive dissonance that you just can't stand to look at. So you pile everything else on top of it.
Yeah.
So then everything else becomes it shaped like it. It's I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I was super curious to see what's going to be.
Did you like it?
I did. I love that. I love the antler lady.
Okay. Yeah.
I love the pick that you chose for that to go off of. Definitely. Because like it really showcases the hypocrisy, really.
Right. I try to get specific, I'm not just gonna come in and be like, nihilism is blah. And it says this. And I think it's wrong because
well, it depends on like what kind of what you believe nihilism really coexists with, right? Like,
see, we
Nietzsche,
already have a debate.
See, Nietzsche said that because it was around the time when the Judeo-Christian people were really questioning that and then feeling an emptiness and sadness from it. And he was like, it can be useful to once we just face the fact that it's true, we can then take that suffering and like focus it on something that's meaningful.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And that like the Ubermensch or whatever, that theory that she brought up, which is true. So like, and then she's like, no. No, you need to stay in that. You need to stay in that suffering. So yeah, she's very Christian Judeo sort of mentality.
Yeah.
To this depression of life.
Right. Oh, you lack God? Well, then you deserve to be punished. The end. Even if you don't believe in God.
Yeah. So like, but I guess Nietzsche wasn't like a nihilist as much as he had. He saw nihilism and then tried to like help construct, meaning for those who hold on to it. I guess.
I think he saw
a few of Nietzsche's work, so I can't really express everything that he,
No, right? Yeah, I've been boning up over the last week, and I have this.
Which one is it?
Beyond Good and Evil.
Do I have that one? I don't know. I'd have to look it up. It's been so long too that I can't remember even what the title is.
It's the slave morality one.
Well, I mean, he's got a bunch of different things. Here, hold on. I'm just gonna go look to see the title. Just give me a sec. Just I don't know, sing perform some entertainment while I'm
back. Okay. Well, I want to. I have not perused it in great depth, but it seems to be approaching the idea basically that good and evil are parochial, out of date ideas that we would all be better off without. And he proposes an alternative framework for perceiving them in, calls conventional morality slave morality. Do you think is a bit judgmental? Like, way to put your fingers on the scale there, Fred. But that's just my surface level read at the moment, because I haven't got all the way through it yet. And I did want to make the obvious comparison to this from about 100 years later, which is obviously playing off of it, intentionally by the titles you'll see there, wherein Skinner is making the argument that freedom and dignity are just parochial, outdated concepts that we'd all be better off without. And
B.F. Skinner, the behaviorist?
Yeah, you want to talk about mechanistic theory, girlfriend?
Yeah, that's mechanistic theory right there.
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't have that one. I've got a different one. I've got Twilight of the Gods.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, no, Twilight of the Idols. What did I say gods
okay.
I don't know. So.
Because Twilight of the Gods is basically what we're all talking about here. Yeah, I think.
But, yeah.
And, interestingly.
The title is Twilight of the Idols.
Right. But so, interestingly, the phrase that I was using last week, scientific materialism, was apparently coined by an atheist philosopher and has been taken over by creationists.
Yeah.
So obviously I am not a creationist, and I did not mean to reference any of whatever dog whistles they have attached to that.
They can take it, but the fact that they took materialism and then restructured what it actually is, because that's not, because even if you just go on Google and put in that word, it tells you exactly what it is, and there's different ways people have taken it and have said what it means, basically, but That's why when you see feminism in, say, the Britannica or other Wikipedia or
Okay.
whatever, it says, "Oh, the quality of the sexes, quality of the sexes," and
Okay,
it's very,
yeah.
very, it's not.
But I did
unless you actually look
specifically
into it,
like
it's not,
the
you're gonna get
wording
wrong.
of the one that I sent you. I did specifically like that wording because it's not necessarily about the mechanistic relationships between things, as about the fact that everything is made of and emanates from material matter.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. It's just a slight, like right next to the mechanistic thing. Does that make sense?
No, not
Okay.
really.
Yes, but they're they kind of rely on one another, mechanism, the idea that everything is made of
Sorry, I
matter.
got cut out. Sorry, as I was saying, no, because they're two different philosophies. So when you put them together, what does that even mean?
No, I didn't say mechanistic materialism, though. I said scientific materialism.
Yeah, no, scientific materialism, but what does that mean?
So
Because
it
materialism is just matter.
means, right, the idea that everything is made of or emanates from matter. And then the scientific part is where you can measure it.
Measure it? What do you mean by measure it? Just
by the scientific method? Yeah, but
But that's not like a theory. That's
like this.
It's how you derive science.
I know, but it is. It's a framework of philosophy. Yeah, it is. That didn't exist in certain periods in the past, which is why they thought about the world very differently.
No, I don't understand, because I don't see that as a philosophy if you're using material matter to experiment on.
Right, but the scientific method was invented at one point. Believe it or not, it was codified. Yeah, it was codified officially. Yeah.
So you're against scientific method?
Hell no.
Okay.
I'm just saying that it was officially invented at one point, and before that, it was unofficial.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And it's been codified into this philosophical over sort of because that's what philosophers
the
do.
Mechanism of it's the mechanization of the method, is what you're saying.
Well, and it's okay. There's materialism, and then there's idealism, which is like what the ancient Greeks thought, right? Like they literally believed that like ideas, you could think something into existence, like the idea that you could wish for something super hard and it would appear in the world because, the gods said so. Like,
or
manifestation, essentially. Right. But manifestation essentially is idealism, where you think that ideas have force, like in the wider world, whether you do anything with them or not. Because energy manipulation or whatever, which is actually materialism sneaking back in the other way for that shit, which is always so funny to me. Because they feel like they need a mechanical explanation for how they're, not.
Well, I think it spawned. I think it spawned with mechanization, with the method, and then it just took that method and mechanized it, basically.
Well, it's like if you're idealism,
they're doing it for a purpose of the ability of the machinery that they can use as a tool.
Right, but like idealism is supposed to be divorced from materialism. That's the whole fucking point. So if your idealism needs materialism as a foundation, then it isn't really idealism, and you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it makes me laugh when people who are talking about magic one minute are talking about energy manipulation the next, and I'm like, so wait a minute, which one are you doing? Are you manipulating the world through your ideas, or are you manipulating energy? Which one are you doing? They don't know.
Well, kind of both, because their idealism.
Well, because one of them actually is effective
to be able to actually propose by using material reality, and they have the power to do so. But that's based on the material exploitations that they have garnered. So yeah, material.
Right. It's like they don't want to admit the material half of what they're doing.
Yeah,
because they're doing it all with their minds.
To a point now where they believe themselves to be so godlike.
Right. They're doing it all with their minds. They're not doing anything to actually bring about these. Oh, no. It's just happening.
I think that they know that. I think they very much well know that. I just think that that's what the fact that they do that and can use that power for the ability for them to choose, not just through ideas, but through the mechanizations and actually physically going out and working, that like people's and like putting that into power, into play, makes them gods. Because they have the ability to do so. Not just the idea to do so. They want us to, they want to shape, and the fact that they shape our idealism, they are when people are unaware, and they shape ideas and people and behavior and engineer that as machinery. They see, so it's conflated with the same thing with material and ideas, because they very much can have the power to do that. They do that. So I don't think they don't understand or comprehend that. I just think that they have a hubris where they believe that right there is what perceives them power, and the reason why they have power is because they're gods. That's why they're the ones with chosen power to be able to do that, even though they use material to exploit.
Well, I think that being that like into yourself like that, it makes you just blind to, a lot.
Well, yeah, because they're not gods. They're really not.
Well, hi, Joe. Hi, long live Avalon. We have people in the comments. When did that happen? Sorry, guys. What's up?
Oh, hi. we were very much getting right into it.
Oh yeah, we're deep into our discussion.
The chat. We're sorry.
Well, hopefully it's entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
Trying to debate whether, I think we wandered a little bit from nihilism into just escapism, really.
Yeah. Well, nihilism is a form of escapism, I guess.
Oh yeah.
We want to go in there.
No, yeah. I really get that sense from watching her. And it was just so funny the way that she talks, like she's reading a children's story. It sounds like she's reading Winnie the Pooh, and she's talking about how there's no hope and there's no meaning to anything. And
you're feeling
we
fairly
just all
nihilistic.
have to accept that.
But do you believe in the antler theory?
You should go watch my video and come back. I forgive you.
Yeah, because there's different. Yeah, there's just the feeling of when it comes to a point where you think that you don't do anything, it's meaningless. There's no meaning to it, anyways. Well, it kind of is, because or else you wouldn't be so depressed. That gives meaning. And it gives an excuse not to do anything. It's the same thing with postmodernism's ability to make people ignore the reality and not worry about that.
Being overwhelmed is okay, but I think letting that slip into the idea that nothing you do matters is, dangerous. Obviously for you as a person, actually it matters to your body, it matters to your health, and it's a whole lot easier to not be totally miserable if your health isn't in the crapper.
Doesn't matter in the context of future outcomes. What gives meaning and what gives purpose is the now. How are you feeling now? Like you're the way that you feel it is actually like meaningful, because you're experiencing it. And the understanding that if you think that everyone's on the same level, then you can like see and understand the suffering of others outside of yourself externally and want to change that. Whether or not you succeed is a different matter or not. The least is that what it feels like to suffer, and to think that someone should have the ability to create that suffering. You should try to change that, because that gives meaning, because and it's fundamental, since you're experiencing that meaning right now, and so are they.
And I think that like the way that the way that guy Zappa that we had in the video can't walk. Sorry, I'm gonna finish this thought and then I'll read that. The way the guy Zappa that we talked about in the video rationalized away every good thing that ever happens to anybody as just cope just demonstrates how, I mean, yeah, you can be feeling really shit. And if you decide that the world is just shit, you got to be on guard for the positive vibes that are going to come at you. Like, you have to have a way to keep happiness at bay. All right. Because eventually you're going to find something that makes you happy.
Yeah. We can't have that now, can we? See, like you said, right now,
you have to
I'm
reach
pretty
for that.
happy about my flowers blooming. Exactly.
Right.
That has meaning. That is meaning. Your happiness has meaning in the here and now. To just disregard that is so weird to me.
Right. I don't.
You don't have any like feelings of wanting to protect your happiness.
No, right. But see, Britt has sacrificed all happiness for that feeling of intellectual superiority,
which makes her happy. It gives her meaning.
I guess. No, it obviously gives her meaning. She's built her entire YouTube channel around it anyway.
Exactly. Because if everything was truly meaningless to her, like I said, she'd just sit down, not eat, drink until she faded away and died.
Right. Yeah. Her meat suit didn't mean anything to her.
Oh, but the meat suit. Yeah, I'm like, meat suit?
Again, if you're referring to your meat suit, who are you?
Exactly.
If you don't believe in an immortal soul, who the fuck is speaking right now?
Very Christian Judeo understanding, definitely.
It really is.
Meat suit was another part that took me out. I'm like, meat suit?
Yeah.
I'm like, I thought you were logical. I thought you believed in the material reality only and weren't religious. What are you talking about, meat suit? You are your body.
Right. And it's really just lazy in the end, I think. They fight impermanence when it's the only thing that gives anything meaning at all. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Because really, that was Britt's objection, I think, was that, you know, if there isn't any objective certainty, then nothing means anything. And I'm just, no, that doesn't follow.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, who is the objective observer that you're wanting approval from?
Yeah.
Which I think, that's what God is dead means. Objective certainty, the idea of objective certainty is dead, right? And we're all scrambling around because nobody has any idea what's actually going on.
Well, like I said, when I talked about the whole Nietzsche, where she even talked about his understanding of what, like, when you come to the realization that Judeo-Christianity sort of like structure, which was falling at that time, right? A lot of people were really questioning that shit, and then being depressed from that, coming to the conclusion. But it's like, and he's just like, listen, let's all face the fact God is dead and move on by focusing that energy on something with meaning and purpose. Because great things could come from that. But no, she was like, no, that's just cope.
Right. He suggested essentially that in the absence of objective meaning, we could make some of our own, which is where existentialism comes from, right? And like, then, later philosophers were like, I mean, I can see why. Okay, I touched on the fact that people like Zappa, and I believe also Camus, came of age like during World War I or like right after. Right after the world that they were born into got done ripping itself to pieces. And I can really see why. The idea that nothing meant anything held a lot of sway for that generation of people. Yeah. However, we hope we've moved on, at least, that those of us who live in the post-apocalyptic future must find meaning. I think existentialism is probably closer than absurdism or excuse me, nihilism.
Yeah. Kitty, what are you trying to do? She's trying to sneak over to the paper. Kitty.
But the people who lived through the apocalypse had to like find a way to come to terms with that, and I think a lot of them really struggled with that. And like, fair enough. Anybody who hasn't read Man's Search for Meaning needs to read it. Ooh. If anything in life was permanent, life would lose all meaning. Yeah, right.
Cat.
Stoicism is the way to go, huh? Oh. I had an objection to that one. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, stoicism, like stoic as in just not saying much.
No.
Because I don't know much about stoicism. I actually don't know much about that one. But
Right. See, that's one of those ones that I'm slowly working my way through the last few years. I've been slowly working my way through getting to know, the philosophers and literature and all this stuff. Because I want to use the second half of my life when I eventually have all of my time back to like participate in the wider conversation. And I want to have, be like read up in any fucking way whatsoever. But
okay, interesting.
you think anything is foolish because nothing is noble for sure. Oh, okay. So you're an absurdist.
But that's kind of a little bit almost postmodernist as well. Because if some things I know, material objective reality, I know.
Right. I think that is self-defeating. If you want my opinion, which it's my channel, so I guess you're going to get my opinion, which I do. I think that philosophy is self-defeating because then your mind is a meaning-making machine. That's what it's for. That's what it does. Good luck turning that off.
So, and I'd say
Why
other
would you
things
want to
I
do
know
that?
to be knowable. I know that the suffering of people by a mass majority of people by a very few amount of people for their own benefit is wrong.
Right. It just
It's not
sounds like,
acceptable.
Joe, you sound very demoralized, son. I'm sorry. It sounds like if nothing means anything, then nothing is worth
Spiritual
doing or
things, yes.
working
See, now
for.
I was just going to say that I will agree.
Oh.
Spiritual things, yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Objective materiality, no, I know that. I know. So those things
Okay.
are not based on faith; they're just logically conclusive.
Thank you
But
for the
when it comes to
clarification. Yeah,
spirituality, yes, foolish.
That's a completely. You're the best husband and father. I think you're mistaken. You're in the
That
wrong
one might be a
channel.
bot. I know
Yeah, I guess
you hate that.
that's
Not makeup.
hilarious.
Why? Because that one seems really weird.
Oh no, they're implying that I'm a man because I don't have any makeup on, apparently. But even outside of
Oh,
that,
not
we don't
makeup.
know.
Why? Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but even
Why
outside of
makeup
that,
in itself? Why
right?
wear makeup?
I don't, because I value my skin
How
more than
foolish.
your opinion.
You see what I
But
did
even,
there?
but even
Okay, but
outside
can
of
I be the
that,
snake?
oh, absolutely. I will
Perfect.
totally claim crocodile. Lounge around in warm water all day. Oh my god, yes, that sounds
I
nice.
just want to be able to slither,
Even outside of that, right? I could dig being able to walk still. That sounds good. A waddle. I kind of waddle anyway. He's not
Yeah,
wrong.
this suffering. No, I see. Outside of that, you don't know that suffering doesn't have meaning. It has meaning. It has a bad meaning.
Okay.
And it's
Well, I'm
done
like,
especially by people aware of it and having and going about actions that they are partaking in to create that suffering.
what?
Joe, I hope you're talking about telling the other person, Vicky, not us.
I don't know. Yeah. Obviously not us. But even all of
Just
that
laughing.
might be part of a bigger picture. We cannot know. True. No, but we've been having like the wrong conversation for the last like 5 minutes.
But
Because you said you
see,
felt
I don't know
nihilistic,
about
and then you
that
said
because
that
that
we can't know
leads
anything.
back to
So
being actually believing in spirituality. I do not believe in spirituality. I literally do not. So you would have some sort of form of theism, a belief in theism, to believe that that might be of a bigger purpose, the suffering. I do not see that. The
oh
purpose is only for people to benefit themselves over other people, and they have no right because they have no rational reason for
wait,
being able to conduct themselves that way against another human being. There's no
no.
reason for it. They don't have the extra right and privilege to do that. There's nothing gave them that right and privilege but themselves. So, and I don't
Agreed.
want to see a bigger picture out of it because that leads to the belief in theism that there is something that was planned to be gained out of. I don't see that as logically consistent with my belief.
Well, see, I can actually think of a way that we could be part of a bigger picture, a bigger evolutionary picture. Because like what I was saying in the video, there are levels to survival of the fittest, and from a species level, from the wider species level, not the individual person, the wider species level. Okay, us fucking killing one another is really bad for
Yeah.
our survival as a species. Like, no, there is an overarching reason why we might not be might the
Yeah.
suffering could be part of a bigger picture that we're all trying to evolve collectively to like live better as a
We just do that
species.
without having suffering. We just
No,
don't
no, no,
create it
you have to do
first.
right. Yeah, that'd be nice to just
And the thing is, you say
suffer through.
they have broken bangs, we create psychopaths. Did I create it individually? No. This was created before my time.
Not really nihilistic. I think the world is incredibly mysterious, and since we see so little of it sexually in our visual and auditory fields, there's no reason to think we can know. Which thing are you aggressively agreeing with, Joe?
Yeah.
This text thing is so we are not separate from what has
As
happened
a
before.
motivated,
Right.
conscious effort, we are separate from the path because I did not exist then. And the woes that would then create that would have to be those who had the ability and power to create that. Putting that on yourself, I don't think is rational, and I don't think it's helpful. I really don't. I don't need to take that burden on. What matters is what matters in my lifetime and what I do in my own actions. That's what I see.
I think my way of saying that would be that like I can only do so much, like you can't expect yourself to solve every problem that you see.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Especially when it's out of your control.
Yeah. We can look at it and it's our job to try to change it, but also we have to accept it as what has happened.
Well, that I definitely agree with.
Yeah.
We can look at it, which I do. It's our job to try to change it. Yes, I think it is because we have autonomy and we can actually do something about something which we find, objectionable and which is very destructive to us. And it matters because I'm not above someone else. And if they're being like more exploited, that's not okay because also the people exploiting are not above me or them. That hierarchy is a man-made delusion when it comes to that.
Right. 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 That's a big thing that a lot of people have difficulty getting over, I think. Is,
No,
the
I know the
hierarchy.
systems we have created, except for we didn't create it because we didn't physically exist then.
That's funny. I went there about the free will too. I was biting my tongue about that.
And how
Way to
much
go,
free will do
Joe.
we have if we are literally physically being stopped and so we have free will, but that doesn't mean it guarantees anything. And that doesn't mean we have free will over actually doing something that we physically cannot do.
See, I use my free will to not engage with people who don't believe in free will because I think that's a really dumb position. You're going to come along and rationalize to me why exactly it is that I have the choice to not get out of bed every day, but I do anyway.
No, when I'm talking about free will is I mean actually going out and changing it.
No, I know.
Like changing the situations on a systematic level myself, going in and just changing it. You can only do so much that is physically able to.
You have free will, but it's not ultimate will.
Yes, exactly.
Like you are not a god. Right? That's the mistake that people make, I think.
Yes,
I run into this.
exactly. So you do what you can, and it doesn't matter if you think that is almost impossible. You still do it. You still do it because there's a limitation, and you should be compelled to change it for the
being
betterment of everything.
frustrated by your own limitations to the point where you're just like, fine, I can't do what I wanted, so nothing matters anyway. It's like
Exactly.
a
That's
choice.
not acceptable.
It's a choice.
That's still a choice. That's still a choice that you're choosing.
And just the more and more I think about it, I didn't want to come at her personally, like in the video that's gonna be seen by hopefully thousands of people. But the way that she talks is so quiet and meek and just really earnest, and just talking about how nothing matters. And I'm just like, oh, that's so insidious.
It is very insidious, I think. Stop trying to push your fucking void onto other people.
Well, and doing it in this way that sounds fucking comforting.
Yeah, which is kind of gross. It's masochistic.
Yeah, it's sadistic even. Yeah,
sadomasochist.
Like she's coming at them. Like, oh, I think free will exists, but only within the framework you were born into. You're right, exactly.
Yeah. You guys talk together. I'm going to get another coffee so I have some liquid while I read.
No, you're going to leave me alone with Joe. What am I going to do? Oh, no.
Talk about the meaningless of life.
Oh, my goodness. In a little bit, we're going to get on to reading the chapter in the book because I don't know if you came for that. I know there's at least one person who's been following along with that, which is super cool. No, it's just you and me. Oh, but I think nihilism can be tempting because it feels like a safe harbor, probably in choppy seas of modern life, to sound cheesy, right? Where you don't have to worry about what the meaning is because there just isn't one, and that's it. But yeah, I don't know. And then it just is going to begin creeping its way back in, and you have to rationalize. There's so many rationalizations about why nothing actually means anything. You think it doesn't, or you think it does, but it doesn't really. I think life is as meaningful as you make it. I've known people with almost nothing and that dealt with great suffering that are very happy people, and I know people who grew up in privilege who aren't. Right. And really, the more I think about this, the more I wish I had made this point in the video that, like, this guy Zaffa, this nihilist philosopher, goes to some pretty interesting lengths to rationalize away anything that might seem like it means anything, which is like the fact that they just have to keep beating the happiness away, like, is so weird. And it's a tell, right? It's very telling. If someone finds life meaningless, I would want to. Hey, back! I would want to watch how they dealt with losing someone they really loved. Ooh, yeah, right. Yeah, right.
So I'm dealing with another external crisis, exponential crisis, whatever, right now. So my hard drive broke down. It cannot be fixed for my computer. So I just got that notification when I went to get my coffee. I have to go buy another one.
Oh, no. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, it's because my kid, he just doesn't wipe down the dust, and he got in there and then fried the wires. And I tell him all the time, you have to wipe the dust off. You can't leave it. So I'll have to figure that out later. But, that's going to be another ka-ching in my wallet.
Yeah, ouch.
Yeah.
Kids.
I know.
Oh my God, get this. Mine lost his computer.
What?
Yeah, he lost his computer. Like, they give them a laptop for high school here, and then you, like, slowly pay it off over the next 4 years. So that by the time they graduate, they get to just keep the damn thing.
Yeah.
And he is 3 weeks from graduating, and his computer disappeared.
What?
And it took him 2 weeks before he came to any of us about it, so.
Oh my God. How did it disappear, though?
He left it in the classroom, apparently where he customarily kept it, and he says he came in the next morning and it was gone. But, like, newsflash, they have security cameras.
Yeah.
He didn't go to anybody with any authority. Not me, not his dad, not his sister, who used to work in the computer lab at the school.
So why?
Nobody.
He literally didn't do anything. That's sorry to infer, but that kind of seems suspicious. But then again, I could see my kid doing the same thing.
Right. It would seem suspicious if it were the other child. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The one who used to work in the computer lab, she is not absent-minded like that. He is. This is totally in character for him.
I could see, like I said, I could see actually my kid doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And being scared to, like, really, like, say anything, so they don't say anything to anybody.
Right, exactly. Apparently, he asked the teacher whose classroom it was, like, obviously, and she didn't know anything about it. So he was like, well, I guess my computer's lost. And his sister's trying to live with it for the last 2 weeks. I don't.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
And so now we get to finish paying off this computer that has disappeared.
I think my kid would eventually have told me, though, probably sooner. Because he'd
Yeah.
also be scared of what I would do if he waited too long.
Honestly, he kind of hurt my feelings. I'm like, I can't believe you didn't come. You're smarter than you're older than you're too old for this crap. Like what?
Yeah.
And in the back of my mind, I'm trying not to panic, thinking, what's he gonna do when he's 22 and has real problems? He's not gonna come to us about them. Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, parenting.
Right.
Look at the dog barking. My grandson would forget to tell anybody because out of sight, out of mind. You know what? Yeah, that's when I asked him. That was one of the things he said was that he left his worries at the door, and his sister looked at him like, "What?"
Yeah.
She had no concept of that because again, they're totally different.
People out of sight, out of mind attributes to a lot of things that in society. Like when you don't have it right in front of you,
yeah,
so easy to just have it fleet out of your mind, right?
Right. And I guess he wasn't used to bringing it home with him, so when he was at home, he wasn't thinking about it, and like I can see that for a few days, and then by then it's been a few days, and you're too afraid to tell anybody, And like I'm not suspicious. My feelings are kind of hurt, and I'm very annoyed.
Yeah.
Bordering on aggravated, like just stupid.
Yeah.
I don't worry anymore.
For like an older adult. That's why I was like, I can't really say anything because it's somewhat like a kid still. And I know my kid, and I know how kids think. It's not logical usually. All the time.
Right. And it's really humbling sometimes. Duncan, shut up. Like you were talking about something illogical. Duncan.
Look at that. Look at that puppy.
Shut up. What are you barking at? That's our yard.
Oh my god. Oh, puppy. It's just as bad as my cat who keeps trying to be able to be sitting on the stupid paper that I put out for the chapter.
That has not been my experience at all. Okay. Which thing hasn't been your experience at all? Dogs being illogical? I'm going to assume that's not what you mean. Dogs are always illogical.
Particularly illogical. See, I don't think that. I think that people can be logical and people can be illogical. Really.
Oh, my grandson who was born with brain tumor is so ADHD that he loses everything. Yeah. ADHD is part of the equation here. My grandson don't forget to tell anybody. Yeah. I don't worry anymore, which really freaks people out. Sentence above that one.
Yeah, okay, see, I do worry because I do believe that I worry about what's going on now because it's unjustifiable. That's what I worry about. I worry about how long can that continue? Or are we just going to continuously do it until we're all ominous genocide is like perhaps fucking generated? Which, again, does not mean that I sit in my own nihilism about it. I still do what I can, but I'm not going to put the burden of change particularly just on myself. I just wish that other people would actually see fit to do something about it instead of just not care because it doesn't involve them at this point, because they're going to care later once it turns around onto them.
Which thing are we talking about now?
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it changes nothing or anything. It's something that you feel.
No, I think I get it's like not an efficient use of your energy, I guess. And if you can't skip it,
I think I think it's useful. I think my worry helps me actually take action. If I wasn't like worried enough, then I would just let it happen.
I've thought that way about anger. I think I no longer worry, feel worried.
Exactly. Anger is a good one too. Like sometimes anger is like really helpful.
Right. And it might even be a more productive use of it than just trying to avoid, because we all have.
Yeah, but that doesn't work for everyone. Some people actually are aware of what's happening and still feel like they just don't do anything. That's where postmodernism comes from. They're aware, they don't want to actually do anything, so they make this fucking whole brain trip ideal where subjective reality, and they come up with a whole fucking philosophies just to ignore, right? That awareness.
They have a right to not want to do anything.
No, they don't. It's not a right. That's a privilege. That's a privilege. That's not going to do them well later on, because they'll turn around back on that. And they're going to be the ones wishing that someone would probably help them. Just they have the privilege not to worry, not to do anything.
Oh. There we go. You can go in there and bark with the other two now. Hooray, hooray. Oof. What is that little... It looks like a man on a hanger, or like an X on a hanger and an A. What does that mean? I've seen that so many times.
X on a hanger, huh?
Yeah, her last comment, Joe, your last comment is a little
It's just
glyph.
an upside down smiley face.
Oh, okay. You don't see that, huh? Huh.
You don't see that the upside down smiley face?
I do.
Oh, there's something else? No, I don't see it in the regular chat. So YouTube shadow banned her. Fucking
No, I've seen this.
I hate when they do that. I really hate when they do that.
I mean, maybe that's what it is. I've seen this so many different times.
Yeah, that's what I said, Joe.
It looks like that.
Oh, I've never seen that.
Interesting.
Weird. I wonder what that means.
That is. Maybe I'll take a screenshot of this and send it to you later, just for curiosity's sake.
Yeah, because I don't know. That doesn't seem familiar to me at all. The code
Strange.
that should show you the smiley face.
Oh. No, because I also do see the upside down smiley face.
You're seeing the Matrix.
I knew it! I'm the chosen one!
That's brilliant, Joe. Brilliant. I love that. That was good. That was good.
Dude, that's one of my favorite things, is when people which drug is it? When you get into some esoteric corners, you run into some really weird things. And this is one of my favorites, right? Where people do, I want to say it's DMT.
Yeah, it's some sort of variation of the peyote.
Where they will say, and then if you shine the laser at the wall, you can see the Matrix. I'm like, no, honey.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're seeing. But that's not what it is. What you're seeing is
the result and consequence of your brain bleeding.
And I've heard this, that's there are people out there who honestly believe that the world is a simulation because they had this experience on peyote or something. And I'm just like,
yeah,
wow, not everyone should be allowed to do drugs, which I know is like a fashy thing to say, but yikes.
Well, they can, but it is detrimental. That's what I think.
Yeah, to some people it definitely is.
Especially if it's natural, go ahead, but you're poisoning yourself, because what you're seeing, this is what I don't understand. What you're seeing is not some fucking undeveloped conscious knowledge of whatever. Your brain is literally bleeding. You're fucking up your receptors that reflect and mirror the reality you see. That's what's happening. It's not real. It's you poisoning. You're suffering from toxic consequences from the poison you ingested.
Well, I don't know that it's the brain bleeding. I believe some of it is related to serotonin
I don't
syndrome,
think
and I
it's
need
like
to do
it's
more
literally
research.
bleeding. It's not literally bleeding. I'm saying you're fucking up your brain. Like you're actually disrupting working aspects that help you reflect reality, and you're frying it, or you're dissolving it, or you're burning it, or you're like whatever it's doing, but it's doing something to that extent.
Well,
You're
it's like,
literally
you're
fucking up your
flooding your
receptors.
receptors with, you're flooding your receptors, and that is causing short
Yeah,
circuits in your
exactly.
perceptions of things. Um, I,
I heard of that. I think that is so odd.
yeah. Odd shared hallucination across cultures. I have aphantasia. I don't see any pictures in my head.
Yeah,
I
that.
am fascinated by that idea. What
I
a
don't.
weird
I
concept.
that
That's a
is so
completely
crazy to me. That's
foreign.
so crazy
Yeah,
to me.
right. Right. Same. That's such a foreign concept to me. You live in a completely foreign universe, my love. Mwah, good for you. Like,
Yeah, and I bet you it feels the same way when it comes to like people like
right.
us who have vivid
Yeah.
imagery in their heads when they hear the certain words and whatever, and the imagery that comes
Right.
along with it. It's probably
Right.
something that's so odd to you, eh?
So wait, and I want to go back to the elves because yes, I've heard about that too. And like, obviously, this is an outgrowth of the drug. Like, how anybody doesn't come to the conclusion that like, wow, we all did the same drug and all had the same experience. Therefore,
Well, yeah,
but
and
no,
why would it be like that? Well, it's not to benefit you. It's because the plant or whatever is trying to get you to not eat it. It's a defense mechanism so it can survive.
right?
Because
And like
usually
our
animals
brains for
understand
some
that
reason
when that
interpret it
happens,
as
it's not a good
elves.
thing, and so they
Like,
stop eating it. But not humans.
we alter our consciousness with food and sex and all kinds of different things. The human animal seems drawn to having those experiences. Like a lot of animals seem drawn to having those experiences, actually. I was watching something the other day about how lots of different animals like to get drunk in various ways.
Yeah, I have a friend who actually is the same way. Is that she loves to read books and stuff like that, but she doesn't actually see the imagery in her head. I just find I don't understand like how that would work, but
Aw,
yeah, I find it just interesting.
bypass trauma in some people.
Okay, so maybe dolphins are that stupid too.
You're right, yeah.
Or when
See,
raccoons eat fermented fruit that they find on the ground and they get wasted.
right. And see, I don't know. There's a hypothesis that behavior actually, ended up enabling evolution just because, you're basically pushing yourself to have to learn to navigate your environment all over again.
Yeah,
So,
but the thing is, it does do damage if ingested like enough with certain
well,
things.
yeah,
Yeah,
the dose makes
because
the
it is
poison.
definitely you're definitely frying or like depleting, or you're fucking something up, an organ that's different organs that actually have a purpose and functionality, and you're fucking up that functionality purpose for it. Yeah, that's so crazy to me. That's so interesting. I wonder why that is. For the long,
Yeah.
I just recently found that this sort of like affliction out recently, right? So like it's super
It's
interesting to
not
me
an
because it's not
affliction.
something I
She just
had
told us one
any
of the
knowledge
reasons that
that
it's
there was a
really good.
difference.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I have hyperphantasia, and it's actually been like kind of an issue for me at different periods of my life.
Yeah, so do I. So do I. I very clearly can like image straight up in my head. Like even when I'm talking to you, I can have images going through my head that I see
Oh
and
yeah.
experience.
Oh yeah. Totally. But like, and like, I have to be very picky about like movies that I watch and shit because they like get stuck. Like almost the way like old televisions, like if you leave it on an image and then like you would turn it off and the image would still be there.
Yeah.
Like I get images like stuck and they'll like flash like through like days afterwards.
Yeah, or sometimes even just a thought or like a discussion on something, I would have
Oh
things
yeah.
play out in my head while I'm doing something else. Some like even the
Oh
next
yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And some
same
like I
here.
have to stop myself sometimes from reacting to like these things
And
almost
that's
as if they
probably
were real.
why I cannot meditate. I start thinking of things in my head and like a whole movie will go on.
Well, I've tried to funnel that. That is a form of meditation, right? You're focusing deeply on something. What is that of
I
other
know,
than a
but
form
like
of
I
meditation? I
guess you
mean,
could see that's a form of meditation, but
sounds
it's nothing to do with
horrifying.
centering yourself. Usually, like I can get super mad about something, or like if I start thinking too hyper focused.
Oh yeah, no, and deep focus is like the world disappears.
Yeah. That I could never experience that. There's always something going on. Some sort
No, I mean, like, that's where, like, the, I'll get lost in just stuff in my head. Where, like I say,
but I'm still seeing the stuff in my head and I'm playing out certain, like, consequent, like, certain stuff and images.
Right.
So do you dream?
That's a good question. I also don't obsessively obsess over when to think at all. I choose one to do so. I choose one to think so. I don't have a constant stream of dialogue in my head either, which apparently is what most people have.
Yeah, it's not a conscious sort of like, okay, I'm going to think of this. It just kind of pops in my head, images, and then it plays out scenarios.
I don't always have an internal monologue either.
Yeah. I dreamed, but conceptually and thought, not in pictures. Whoa!
Neat.
That's so cool.
So you don't dream?
So cool. I'm sorry, that's cool. I don't even know how that would actually factor. Like, because like usually in my dreams it's just pictures and everything's nonsensical.
Yeah, I dream like I see through my eyes.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of what my dreams are, is going around and doing shit that I could do in real life. I'm just not.
I have, when I was younger, because I heard this concept before and kept thinking about it, and then it eventually came true, is that when dreaming, having the understanding that you're dreaming, the realization that you're dreaming. I will have that sometimes, but I always do the same thing. Like, I don't have control of what I'm going to do or think of. I just start to fly. And then I'm enjoying my time. Like, it's not like
that's happened to me a couple of times over the years.
I do have a realization that I am dreaming. So it's like interesting.
So when I talk about a dream, no one has ever had a face because there's no image. It's just thought about a person. Wow.
That's so interesting. So interesting.
Wow, yeah.
I would love to have that experience just to know what it's like, because it's such an alien concept to me.
Yeah, like, what's reading a novel like?
Yeah, or even just reading a novel.
Oh my goodness, there's a description and the prose, and
Yeah, but still, like, I see in my head the imagery, right?
Yeah, and like, I not to make this about me, but I'm suddenly horrified. Like, I'm getting more and more sparse as we go further into the story with the description, because I figure, like, we all know what this looks like. We've all pictured it 100 times by now, except for those of us who haven't.
Yeah.
Am I screwing out a certain, demographic of readers by not including all the description every time I mean, is that... I always thought it was weird that nobody had faces in my dreams until I realized that other people were seeing pictures in their dreams, and I was having a conceptual dream made of thought, which is cool. That is.
How does like, for me, when I read, like, say, factual, like what we're going to be doing soon, for me at least, I don't know about you, but I still see pictures playing out the factual, like,
it still conjures all kinds of stuff. Yeah. And sometimes, oh my God, the worst thing is where, like, I have a library of video clips and sound clips and song clips, and just that sometimes will be triggered by something. And all of a sudden I'll be watching a little bit of a movie instead of listening to you. And I'm like, whoa, shut up, go away.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah, that's exactly what I do.
I can remember what things look like in my head, so I could describe many things, but it's from thought, not pictures. Okay, so it's just like a different method of remembering and understanding things. I am much more likely to remember things through sound or smell. I definitely understand how sound is a great memory device, for sure. Yeah. And smell, of course, is deeply rooted.
Another question. If you ever actually watch a movie okay, let's take the cinematography being so, like, just boring and just stagnant, that you actually start to have your own movie go through your head while that's in front of you, because that happens to me sometimes. If something's boring, if it's not stimulating, especially the cinematography.
Yeah. I usually will. Yeah, I find it's difficult not to, like, just generally criticize
something else in your head. because
Oh
that
no,
happens to
visual
me.
images are amazing to me. Like, set me in front of a 3D movie and it's so magical. Nice.
Meanwhile, I find a lot of movies I'm like so not magical enough in my own brain.
Right. Well, and then the ones where they really go all out and they really try to do all the choreography and all the costuming and all the set design and all the everything. I'm like, did they have to have those lyrics that way? I
Yeah.
disagree with that. Right? I object to that rhyme. That rhyme is corny. Stop it.
Yeah, I don't
Like,
really know about like everything. Like I'm talking about more like not like costumes and all that and that aspect, but the cinematography. If it's just like back and forth with faces, and the
yeah.
conversations, and like that is so
Oh,
boring.
yeah. It is. It is. It's very popular these days too. I bet you like a lot of
Well, yeah,
older
it's
movies
lazy.
better.
It's boring and lazy.
Yeah.
There's no thought
Right.
process to the cinematography of it, right? You're just showcasing talking heads, literally. But like
Right.
that's why I think I enjoy things that other people find a little bit like because it irks them because it's too much, such as Requiem for a Dream. Like I told you, that's one of my favorite movies because the
Uh-huh.
cinematography in it is great. It's so active and like really,
Oh,
for me, anyways, that it really
okay.
pulls me in.
See,
Yeah.
and this is why I'm a novelist because I'm really more about story. Like, cinematography is great and everything, but I'm not watching it top of mind. You know what I
If
mean?
it's a shitty story, then it's not going to matter. But I'm saying that a lot of times the imagery gets totally, yeah, it's got to
Right.
be a
But
good
I'm just
story though.
but yeah, and like that's just not top of mind for me. I'm sitting here thinking, okay, that's our Chekhov's gun. If it doesn't go off by the end of the third act, I'm going to be pissed. Like that's how I'm thinking. As opposed to, wow, that was a gorgeous angle. Da 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 da. The way they set up
Well, it
that
doesn't even
shot
have
was
to be
really
angles.
interesting.
It could be intertwined with the actual like music and the story of the act and the actual actions of the
Oh,
characters. That's what I find interesting, right? Sorry, what was that?
oh, my father took me to see Fantasia when it was released in theaters because I'm old and it blew my mind. I could describe the movie very accurately, but I don't see it in my head. It's just weird. I'm learning more and more about how
Yeah,
different my brain is. It's so fascinating because I'm 64. So now looking back, I'm having a million realizations. I'm an editor. And I went that way because I love reading so
yeah,
much. Books were my friends
yeah.
when I
See,
was a
my
kid.
friend,
Yeah.
she has the same thing like you, and she loves reading, and I still cannot grasp the concept that it's not images going through her head. Yeah.
Hey, and it's
So,
just
but
another example of I don't need to understand it. That's awesome. So it's possible my brain said she never needs to use this again and shut that function off. Wait, they think maybe due to an extreme early trauma, and when I was 2, my parents and I were in a terrible accident that almost killed us all. Oh,
oh,
wow. So it's possible my brain said she never needs to see this again and shut that
yeah,
function off.
yeah.
Ouch.
That could be something to that because you don't. Yeah, that's not something you'd want to relive over and over in your
But
head.
that's just a way of people, like, there's just people out there like that, who have aphantasia. It's just a thing. I don't know that it's
I don't think
considered to
that is that. I'm just. It's mostly just a funny reference.
starting to believe that may be the cause. Ah,
Maybe, but I don't see my friend having gone through anything like that for her to cause the same sort of attribute in her imagery depletion. I guess you could call it. But she doesn't have that sort of concept, but she does love reading, and she finds films and stuff fascinating too because, like you said yourself, the fact that the pictures going on, like the whole, you know, seeing actual pictures flowing and the story alongside with it is very, very interesting to her, very entertaining, very just, mind blowing, right?
right.
Anyway, should we actually decide to do some of the reading since there's not much of it?
Yeah, probably. It's also been almost an hour and a half. Joe, are you ready to dive into the death of nature, hon? Also, I've been hoping Sweet Sea Monster would arrive, but I'm not seeing her, so we can
Yeah,
only wait so long.
that's right. All right, so we are doing. Okay, Kat, you're gonna have to move. I'm sorry. I
And I'm
love
gonna
you.
mute myself. I'm gonna
Yeah,
mute myself and probably go
yeah.
make a sandwich.
Okay, so we're reading The Death of Nature, Women, Ecology, and the Scientific Revolution by Carolyn Merchant. And we were actually in the process of reading chapter 1, but we stopped in the midst of it because it was really long. So we're going to start off where we left off. Let's get my paper. Just got to see if I... Hold on. Just give me a sec here.
That's hilarious.
Okay.
I get up to walk away and she says, "Give me a sec."
Okay, so that's funny.
Right.
Cat, move. Okay. Normative constraints against the mining of Mother Earth. If 16th century descriptive statements and imagery can function as an ethical constraint, and if the Earth was widely viewed as a nurturing mother, did such imagery actually function as a norm against improper use of the Earth? Evidence that this was indeed the case can be drawn from theories of the origins of metals and the debates about mining prevalent during the 16th century. The ancient Greek philosophers Anaxagoras, who lived 500 to 428 BC, Theophrastus, 370 to 278 BC, and Dionysius of Perigetes, from 86 to 96 AD. And sorry if I butchered their names. I'm not fluent in Greek. Yeah. Believed that metals were plants growing beneath the earth's surface, and the veins of gold were like the roots and branches of a tree. Metals were believed merely to be a lower form of life than vegetables and animals, reproducing themselves through small metallic seeds. A popular Renaissance belief held about mining was that metaphor of the golden tree. The earth deep within its bowels produced and gave form to the metals, which then rose as mist up through the trunk, branches, and twigs of a great tree whose roots originated at the earth's center. The large branches contained the great veins of minerals, the smaller the metallic ores. Miners had, quote, found by experience that the vein of gold is a living tree, and that by all ways that it spreadeth and springeth from the root by the soft pores and passages of the earth, putting forth branches even onto the uppermost part of the earth, and ceaseth not until it discover itself onto the open air, at which time it showeth forth certain beautiful colors instead of flowers, round stones of golden earth instead of fruits, and thin plates instead of leaves, end quote. Once the veins of ore were mined, it was believed that new ore grew again within a few years. Diamond mines in the East Indies were filled with new diamonds. Sulfur mines were soon replenished. Iron ore continued to grow in the mines of Elba, the coast of Italy. The iron ore fields of Sega in Germany refilled within 10 years. Silver twigs resembling plants grew in the shafts of abandoned mines in the Joachim Valley. In his Art of Metals, published in 1640.
I'm sorry, but like that's not how that works, right?
No, it's not. It's not. That's the belief what they had believed in.
What a wild idea.
Yeah.
That's really out there. I'm sorry, I didn't know that. Did anyone ever believe that? That's wow.
Yeah, it's stupid. But I mean, I guess maybe back then it could potentially. I don't know.
What an assumption to make. That's an assumption.
Right?
It's got to be. And then they saw what they expected to see.
It's just, yeah, an assumption, presumption. Yeah.
And then they saw what they expected to see, right? Like what the?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. In his Art of Metals, published 1640, Albero Barba, director of the Potosi mines in the Spanish West Indies, wrote, quote, all of us know that in the rich hill at Potosi, the stones which divers years we have left behind us, thinking there was not plate enough in them to make it worth our labor, we now bring home and find abundant plate in them, which can be attributed to nothing but the perpetual generation of silver, end quote. The image of Mother Earth and her generative role in the production of metals continued to be significant well into the 18th century. What ethical ideas were held by ancient and early modern writers on the extraction of the metals from the bowels of the living earth? The Roman compiler Pliny, who lived 23 to 79 AD, in his Natural History, had specifically warned against mining the depths of Mother Earth, speculating that earthquakes were an expression of her indignation at being violated in this manner. Quote, "We trace out all the veins of the earth, and yet are astonished that it should occasionally cleave asunder or tremble, as though, forsooth, these signs could be any other than expressions of the indignation felt by our sacred parent. We penetrate into her entrails and seek for treasures, as though each spot we tread upon were not sufficiently bounteous and fertile for us." End quote. He went on to argue that the earth had concealed from view that which she did not wish to be disturbed, that her resources might not be exhausted by human avarice. Quote, "For it is upon her surface, in fact, that she has presented us with these substances, equally with the cereals bounteous and ever ready as she is in supplying us with all things for our benefit. It is what is concealed from our view, what is sunk far beneath her surface, objects, in fact, of no rapid formation, that urge us to our ruin, that send us to the very depths of hell. When will be the end of thus exhausting the earth, and to what point will avarice finally penetrate?" End quote. Here, then, is a striking example of the restraining force of the beneficent mother image. The living earth, in her wisdom, has ordained against the mining of metals by concealing them in the depths of her womb. In addition, the mining of gold contributed to human corruption and avarice. Quote, "The worst crime against mankind was committed by him who was the first to put a ring upon his fingers." End quote. In the age of barter, people were happy, but since then, quote, "man has learned how to challenge both nature and art to become the incitements to vice." End quote. While mining gold led to avarice, extracting iron was the source of human cruelty in the form of war, murder, and robbery. Its use should be limited to agriculture and those activities that contributed to the honors of more civilized life. Quote, For by the aid of iron we lay upon the ground, we plant trees, we prepare our vineyard trees, and we force our vines each year to resume their youthful state by cutting away their decayed branches. It is by the aid of iron that we construct houses, cleave rocks, and perform so many other useful offices of life. But it is with iron also that wars, murders, and robberies are effected, not only hand to hand, but by the aid of missiles and winged weapons, now launched from engines, now hurled by the human arm, and now furnished with feathery wings. Let us therefore acquit nature of a charge that here belongs to man himself. End quote. In past history, Pliny stated there had been instances in which laws were passed to prohibit the retention of weapons and to ensure that iron was used solely for innocent purposes, such as the cultivation of fields. In the Metamorphoses, 7 AD, the Roman poet Ovid wrote of the violence done to the earth during the age of iron. In the preceding golden age, quote, people were unaggressive and unanxious. And here's what he wrote. Quote, "An earth untroubled, unharried by hoe or plowshare, brought forth all that men had need for, and those men were happy, gathering berries from the mountainsides, cherries or black caps, and the edible acorns. Spring was forever, with a west wind blowing softly across the flowers no man had planted. And earth unplowed brought forth rich grain, the field, unfollowed, whitened with wheat, and there were rivers of milk and rivers of honey and golden nectar dripped from the dark green oak trees." End quote. During the Iron Age, evil was let loose in the form of trickery, slyness, plotting, swindling, and violence as men dug into the earth's entrails for iron and gold. End quote. The rich earth was asked for more. They dug into her vitals. Pride out the wealth a kinder lord had hidden. In Stygian shadow, all the precious metal, the root of evil, they found the guilt of iron, and gold more guilty still, and war came forth, end quote. The violation of Mother Earth resulted in new forms of monsters born of the blood of her slaughter. With this passage, quote, Jove struck them down with thunderbolts, and the bulk of those huge bodies lay on the earth and bled, and Mother Earth, made pregnant by that blood, brought forth new bodies, and gave them to recall her older offspring. The forms of men, and this new stock was also contemptuous of gods, and murder-hungry, and violent. You would know they were sons of blood, end quote. Seneca also deplored the activity of mining although unlike Pliny and Ovid, he did not consider it a new vice, but one that had been handed down from ancient times. Quote, what necessity caused man, whose head points to the stars, to stoop below, burying him in mines and plunging him in the very bowels of innermost earth to root up gold, end quote. Not only did mining remove the earth's treasures, but it created, quote, a sight to make the hair stand on end, huge rivers and vast reservoirs of sluggish waters, end quote. The defiling of the earth's waters was even then a noteworthy consequence of the quest for metals. These ancient strictures against mining were still operative during the early years of the commercial revolution, when mining activities, which had lapsed after the fall of Rome, were once again revived. Ultimately, such constraints would have to be defeated by proponents of the new mercantilist philosophy. An allegorical tale reputedly sent to Paul Schneevogel, a professor at Leipzig about 1490 to 1495, expressed opposition to mining encroachments into the farmlands of Liechtenstadt in Saxony, Germany, an area where the new mining activities were developing rapidly. Reminiscent of Elaine of Lila's Natura and her torn gown, and illustrative of the force of the ancient strictures against mining, is the following allegorical version of an old hermit of Liechtenstadt. Mother Earth, dressed in a tattered green robe and seated on the right hand of Jupiter, is represented in a court case by glib-tongued Mercury, who charges a miner with matricide. Testimony is presented by several of nature's deities, end quote. So, quote, Bacchus, Bacchus, I don't know how to say his name, complained that his vines were uprooted and fed to the flames, and his most sacred places desecrated. Ceres stated that her fields were devastated. Pluto that the blows of the miners resound like thunder through the depths of the earth, so that he could hardly reside in his own kingdom. The Naiad that the subterranean waters were diverted and her fountains dried up. Charon that the volume of the underground waters had been so diminished that he was unable to float his boat on Archeron and carry the souls across to Pluto's realm. And the Fauns protested that the charcoal burners had destroyed whole forests to obtain fuel to smelt the miners' ores, end quote. In his defense, the miner argued that the earth was not a real mother, but a wicked stepmother who hides and conceals the metals in her inner parts instead of making them available for human use. Oh, okay. The final judgment, handed down by Fortune, stated that if men deign, quote, to mine and dig in mountains, to tend the fields, to engage in trade, to injure the earth, to throw away knowledge, to disturb Pluto, and finally to search for veins of metal in the sources of rivers, their bodies ought to be swallowed up by the earth, suffocated by its vapors, intoxicated by wine, afflicted with hunger, and remain ignorant of what is best. These and many other dangers are proper of men. Farewell, end quote. In the old hermit's tale, we have a fascinating example of the relationship between images and values. The older view of nature as a kindly mother is challenged by the growing interests of the mining industry in Saxony, Bohemia, and the Harz Mountains, regions of newly found prosperity, and which is in this right there. Okay. The miner, representing these newer commercial activities, transforms the image of the nurturing mother into that of a stepmother who wickedly conceals her bounty from the deserving and needy children. In the 17th century, the image will be seen to undergo yet another transformation, as natural philosopher Francis Bacon, 1561 to 1626, sets forth the need for prying into nature's nooks and crannies and searching out her secrets for human improvement. Henry Cornelius Agrippa's polemic, The Vanity of Arts and Sciences, published in 1530, reiterated some of the moral strictures against mining found in the ancient treaties, quoting the passage from Ovid portraying miners digging into the bowels of the earth in order to extract gold and iron. Quote, "These men," he declared, "have made the very ground more hurtful and pestiferous by how much they are more rash and venturous than they had hazarded themselves in the deep to dive for pearls." End quote. Mining thus despoiled the earth's surface, infecting it, as it were, with an epidemic disease. Of all cultures that have mined for metals, quote, "only the Scythians condemned the use of gold and silver, resolving to keep themselves eternally free from public avarice. There was an ancient law among the Romans against the superfluity of gold, and indeed it were to be wished that men would aspire with the same eagerness to heaven, that they descend into the bowels of the earth, allured with that vein of riches that are so far from making a man happy, that they repent too often of their time and labor so ill bestowed." End quote. If mining were to be freed of such strictures and sanctions as a commercial activity, the ancient arguments would have to be refuted. This task was taken up by George Agricola, who wrote the first modern treatise on mining, his De Re Metallica, or translated meaning on metals, published in 1556, marshaled the arguments of the detractors of mining in order to refute them and thereby promote the activity itself. According to Agricola, people who argued against the mining or the earth against the mining of the earth for metals did so on the basis that nature herself did not wish to be discovered what she herself had concealed. Quote, "The earth does not conceal and remove from our eyes those things which are useful and necessary to mankind, but, on the contrary, like a beneficent and kindly mother, she yields in large abundance from her bounty and brings into the light of day the herbs, vegetables, grains, and fruits and trees. The minerals, on the other hand, she buries far beneath the depth of the ground, therefore they should not be sought." End quote. This argument, taken directly from Pliny, reveals the normative force of the image of the earth as a nurturing mother.
Actually, like, I can even engage with that and counteract it, though. Like, you know, if she didn't want you to dig them, she'd fucking stop you. It's called a cave-in. Hello.
Yeah. What was it, like black lung disease?
Yeah, that could be a hint. You know, maybe coal wasn't the best
yeah.
idea. But
Yeah,
we're the
right?
ones who decided that it was good for burning. Like, that was our, input. People are
Yeah.
like missing their own perspective in their
Yeah, right?
theorizing here.
Just because they already have the outcome, they're just trying to create a story surrounding that outcome and why it should be acceptable. Yeah. A second argument of the detractors, reminiscent of Seneca and Agrippa, I don't know, and based on the Renaissance ecological
Agrippa.
concerns, was the disruption of the natural environment and the pollutive effects of mining. Quote, oh, move that there. Quote, "But besides this, the strongest argument of the detractors of mining is that the fields are devastated by mining operations, for which reason formerly Italians were warned by law that no one should dig the earth for metals and so injure their very fertile fields, their vineyards, and their olive groves. Also, they argue that the woods and groves are cut down, for there is need of wood for timbers, machines, and the smelting of metals. And when the woods and groves are felled, then are exterminated the beasts and birds, many of which furnish a pleasant and agreeable food for man. Further, when the ores are washed, the water which has been used poisons the brooks and streams, and either destroys the fish or drives them away. Therefore, the inhabitants of these regions, on account of the devastation of their fields, woods, groves, brooks, and rivers, find great difficulty in procuring the necessaries of by reason destruction of the timber. They are forced to greater in erecting buildings. Thus it is said, it is clear to all that there is greater detriment for mining than the value of the metals which the mining produces, end quote. Which also makes sense.
Yeah, it's funny. I was just sitting here thinking that sounds an awful lot like the Puritan argument against gambling, and I don't disagree with either of them.
Yeah. Let's see. Agricola may have been alluding to laws passed by the Florentines between 1420 and 1485, preventing people from dumping lime into rivers upstream from the city for the purpose of poisoning or catching fish, as it caused severe problems for those living downstream. The laws were enacted both to preserve the trout, a, quote, a truly noble and impressive fish, end quote, and to provide Florence with, quote, a copious and abundant supply of such fish, end quote. But these laws passed to safeguard the waters of the Arno and the areas of the Castino and Pistonian Apennines were not obeyed, and complaints mounted that, quote, the rivers are empty of fish and the fish are worse, end quote. By 1477, new laws protected the entire domain around Florence, including the Arno, Sive, and Serchio rivers and their tributaries from the diverting and damming of rivers, and the poisoning of fish with lime, nutshells, or the reputedly toxic Aaron's rod plant. Such ecological consequences, however, suffered because of the failure of law enforcement as well as because of the continuing progress of mining activities. Agricola, in his response to the detractors of mining, pointed out the congruences in the need to catch fish and to construct metal tools for the well-being of the human race. His effort can be interpreted as an attempt to liberate the activity of mining from the constraints imposed by the organic framework and the nurturing earth image, so that new values could sanction and hasten its development and progress.
But like, was it necessary to like dissociate people from the land that they lived on? I feel like that's what was done.
Well, that's exactly what was done.
I would just wonder if there was maybe another method of.
Well,
you know,
it's always been like a push of those with power, especially when it comes to like things like war and imperialism, to extract these resources, and it didn't matter to them if it killed a bunch of people because it wasn't them, basically. Right?
Yeah.
But you always had a bunch of people actually living on the lands who resisted ever since it to inception.
Right, yeah, that's a story that's just
Obviously.
played out over and over and over.
Yeah, still to this day, right? To the argument that because the metals lie in the earth, enclosed and hidden from sight and should not be taken out, Agricola countered with the example of catching fish, which lie concealed in the depths of the waters. Quote, nature has given the earth to man that he may cultivate it and draw out its caverns metals and other mineral products, end quote, without which the earth could not be cultivated, fish caught, sheep sheared, animals slaughtered, or food cooked. Without the metals, men would, quote, return to the acorns and fruits and berries of the forest. They would feed upon the herbs and roots which they plucked up with their nails. They would dig out caves in which to lie down a night, and condition utterly unworthy of humanity. Splendid and glorious natural endowment, end quote. Yeah, but if it kills off everything else.
Which again, I'm saying that like I wish
afterwards.
I feel like this is throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Like surely we could have been conscious of the fact that we would like to improve our lot while at the same time being respectful of our environment. But no, fuck that.
Yeah, right? Because it doesn't matter to them, right? To those in power. It really doesn't. So it will though in the end. If they keep going the way they go. Anyways, where was I?
Well, yeah, they can't escape from Mars yet.
Yeah. To the argument that the woods were cut down and were therefore raised, Agricola responded that most mines occurred in unproductive, gloomy areas. The areas were gloomy!
Unproductive. Okay.
Where the trees were removed from more productive sites, fertile fields could be created, the profits from which would reimburse the local inhabitants for their losses in timber supplies. Where the birds and animals had been destroyed by mining operations, the profits could be used to purchase birds without number and edible beasts and fish everywhere and refurbish the area. That's not a good argument,
It's
my
called
guy.
a grocery store. It's not necessarily better.
Yeah, considering that still comes from somewhere, and eventually you're gonna find out that it's not infinite.
And the people in that grocery store are completely dissociated from the land that they live on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and when that runs out, because everything's finite, then we're in deep shit. Because they won't know what to do about that. The vices associated with metals: anger, cruelty, discord, passion for power, avarice. Am I saying that right? Avarice?
Avarice.
Avarice. So avarice.
It means greed.
Yeah, I know what it means, but I wasn't too sure the pronunciation, so I am saying it right. Avarice.
I just don't know why they don't just say greed.
Yeah.
At least occasionally.
Because that's what it means, everyone, if no one knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just seems pretentious to me that you don't swap it out with the easy version every once in a while. I don't know. Not you.
I'm reading it, just
the writer. No, the writer. You know.
Oh, yeah.
She went with the fancy version every time.
Yeah. The vices associated with the metals: anger, cruelty, discord, passion for power, avarice, greed, and lust, should be attributed instead to human conduct. Quote, "It is not the metals which are to be blamed, but the evil passions of men which become inflamed and ignited, or it is due to the blind and impious desires of their minds." End quote. Agricola's arguments are a conscious attempt to separate the older normative constraints from the image of the metals themselves so that new values can then surround them. Edmund Spencer's treatment of Mother Earth in The Fairy Queen, published 1595, was representative of the concurrent conflict of attitudes about mining the earth. Spencer entered fully into the 16th century debates about the wisdom of Joannes Mathesius, entitled Burgpostilla Order Serapetta, published in 1578, inveighed against the moral consequences of human greed for the wealth created by mining for metals. In Spencer's poem, Guion presents the arguments against mining taken from Ovid and Agricola, while the description of Mammon's forge is drawn from the illustrations to the De Re Metallica. Gold and silver pollute the base human values, just as the mining operation itself pollutes the purest streams of the earth's womb. Quote, "Then 'gan accursed hand the quiet womb of his great-grandmother's grandmother with steel to wound, and the hid treasures in her sacred tomb with sacrilege to dig, therein he found fountainous of gold and silver to abound, of which the matter of his huge desire and pompous pride eftsoons he did compound." Oh, that sounds old Englishy or whatever. End quote. The earth in Spencer's poem is passive and docile, allowing all manner of assault, violence, ill treatment, rape by lust, and despoilment by greed. No longer a nurturer, she indiscriminately, as in Ovid's verse, supplies flesh to all life, and lacking in judgment brings forth monsters and evil creatures.
Where's this guy from? Germany?
Yeah, something like that.
I'm just going to say he's obviously not from Hawaii.
No.
Or like someplace that's, geologically active. Like you can,
Yeah, no. Yeah. Her offspring fall and bite her in her own death throes. The new mining activities have altered the earth from a bountiful mother to a passive receptor of human rape. Well,
we have pacified the ultimate woman. Ooh.
Right. John Milton's Paradise Lost, published in 1667, continues the Ovidian image as Mammon leads bands of pioneers with spade and pickaxe in the wounding of the living female earth. Quote, by him first, men also, and by his suggestion taught, ransacked the center with the impious hands, rifled the bowels of their mother earth for treasures better hid. Soon had his crew opened into the hill a spacious wound, and diggeth out ribs of gold. Not end quote. Not only did mining encourage the moral sin of avarice, it was compared by Spencer to the second great sin, human lust. Digging into the matrices and pockets of earth for metals was like mining the female flesh for pleasure. The 16th and 17th century imagination perceived a direct correlation between mining and digging into the nooks and crannies of a woman's body. Both mining and sex represent, for Spencer, the return to animality and earthly slime. In the Fairy Queen, lust is the basest of all human sins. The spilling of human blood in the rush to rape the earth of her gold taints and muddies the once fertile fields. The sonnets of the poet and divine John Donne also played up the popular identity of mining with human lust. The poem titled Love's Alchemy begins with the sexual image. Quote, some that have deeper digged love's mine than I say, where his centric happiness doth lie, end quote. The Platonic lover searching for the ideal or centric experience of love begins by digging for it within the female flesh and act as debasing to the human being as the mining of metals is to the female earth. Happiness is not to be obtained by avarice or for gold and silver, nor can the alchemical elixir be produced from base metals, nor does ideal love result from an ascent upon the hierarchical ladder from base sexual love to the love of poetry, music, and arts to the highest Platonic love of the good, virtue, and God. The same equation appears in Elegy, I can't do Roman numerals. Okay, the something, either the seventh or the eighth. Love's progress. Quote, search every sphere and firmament. Our Cupid is not there. He's an infernal god, and underground with Pluto dwells, where gold and fire abound. Men to such gods their sacrificing coals did not in altars lay, but pits and holes. Although we see celestial bodies move above the earth we till and love. So we arise, contemplate words and heart and virtues, but we love the centric part. End quote. Lust and love of the body do not lead to the celestial love of higher ideals. Rather, physical love is associated with the pits and holes of the female body, just as the love of gold depends on the mining of Pluto's caverns within the female earth. The earth we till and love, end quote. Love of the sexual centric part of the female will not lead to the airy spiritual love of virtue. The fatal association of monetary revenue with human avarice, lust, and the female mind is driven home again in the last lines of the poem. Quote, rich nature hath in women wisely made two purses, and their mouths adversely laid. They then which to the lower tribute owe, that way which that exequire looks must go. End quote. Avarice and greed after money corrupted the soul, just as lust after female flesh corrupted the body. The comparison of the female mind with the new American sources of gold, silver, and precious metals appears again in Elegy the 12th, 22, something, going to bed. Here, however, Dawn turns the image upside down and uses it to extol the virtues of the mistress. Quote, license my roving hands and let them go, before, behind, between, above, below. O my America, my newfound land, my kingdom safest when with one man manned. My mine of precious stones, my empire, how blessed I am. So how blessed am I in this discovering thee, end quote.
Gross.
In these lines, the
The
comparison functions as
virtue
a
of the
sanction.
mistress is an oxymoron, isn't it?
Yeah. In these lines, the comparison functions as a sanction. The search for precious gems and metals, like the sexual exploitation of nature, exploration of nature or the female, can benefit a kingdom or a man. Moral restraints were thus clearly affiliated with the Renaissance image of the female earth and were strengthened by associations with greed, avarice, and lust. but the analogies were double-edged. If the new values connected with mining were positive, and mining was viewed as a means to improve the human condition, as they were by Agricola and later by Bacon, then the comparison could be turned upside down. Sanctioning mining sanctioned the rape or commercial exploration of the earth, a clear illustration of how constraints can change to sanctions through the demise of frameworks and their associated values as the needs, wants, and purposes of society change. The organic framework in which the Mother Earth image was a moral restraint against mining was literally undermined by the new commercial activity. And we are done, chapter 1.
Yay!
Dun, dun, dun. So yeah.
Can you read that last bit again? I wanted to say something. I'm trying to remember what it was.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like the last paragraph or so.
Hold on. Okay, I'll read the whole last paragraph one more time.
Okay. I'll interrupt you whenever it occurs to me what it was.
Okay. Moral restraints were thus clearly affiliated with the Renaissance image of the female earth and were strengthened by associations with greed, avarice, and lust. But the analogies were double-edged. If the new values connected with mining were positive, and mining was viewed as a means to improve the human condition as they were by Agricola and later by Bacon, then the comparison could be turned upside down. Sanctioning mining sanctions the rape or commercial exploration of the earth, a clear illustration of how constraints can change to sanctions through the demise of frameworks and their associated values as the needs, wants, and purposes of society change. The organic framework in which the Mother Earth image was a moral restraint against mining was literally undermined by the new commercial activity.
Right. So it's like they can't just argue against the idea because that entertains the idea as having merit.
No, it's just you got to be careful of how you're frameworking it. Like, oh, this is the mother, right? We have to understand frameworks and how they work by telling stories. Because the framework, it's like rape. It's like rape of women. It's like rape of the earth, and then being like, well, if we change it to be like, oh, the love and lust of the mistresses and stuff that we can like, put on, and then the mining is like fabulous, like because we get to explore. So it's just the way that they frame a story.
Right, but it's still leaving the door open for viewing the earth as a woman in general, and they just have. Like, we needed to get away from that overall, to really get this ball rolling. Hello? Oh, no.
Hello? Sorry about that. What were you saying? That they...
just that they're still entertaining the idea, the framing of Earth as a woman, and they need to obviously get away from that altogether, to really get this ball rolling.
Well, together in a certain way, disassociate in a certain way. I think it is useful to understand they're both forms of exploitation.
Oh, yeah.
But the fact that it being a literal woman is not accurate. It's just a story. We are all part of nature. There's no difference. Just one can multiply species, one does not. But it's necessary to that process still. So, you know what I mean?
It's what's necessary to that process?
Sperm.
Oh, yeah. I guess.
I know, I guess. And we all literally do come from nature. We are part of nature. Like, we're not separate from that. I think I just think that it goes without saying that what's happening now too in this sort of way that we framework things can be co-opted, because that's what happened. It co-opted it.
Yes, and I think that's the way these things usually do.
Exactly, but the reason what she's doing is making that sort of connection of the co-optation of frameworks of storytelling and what creates the propaganda, right? And we got to be wary of that.
Right. So just because they're accepting the framework that you believe in doesn't mean they're saying something you agree with.
Yeah. And they have the power and the ability to further that sort of propaganda than most people, because they have the advantage of all the hoarding of the resources and power from that, and the ability to construct that sort of framework and put it out there more thorough than most people can. So we just be aware of it and to call it out. And you see that kind of shit happen.
I feel like there's a whole lot of Trojan horsing like that going on these days, you know?
Oh, totally. That's why what I really loved this book was the whole understanding of history and the co-optation process behind where we got to in the first place, right?
And I feel like capitalism is super good at that these days.
Oh yeah, well, like you said, B.F. Skinner, when we were talking about earlier, B.F. Skinner is a proponent of social engineering, right? The behaviorist. They've got so much depth and understanding of how to use that propaganda framework for their benefit. But that's why it's really essential to figure that out and to, combat that as well.
Right. And it just comes to like these people realizing that we can do these things. Let's find a reason why we should.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, like you said, propaganda can be used for different purposes, right? Some can be morally objectionable, and others can be used for very moral, actual real good purpose, right? Well, it's the same
Public
thing,
education is a double-edged sword, right?
Yeah.
And in order for public education to be a moral good, you have to teach people like constructive things to make their lives better.
Yeah.
Which is totally possible. It's a tool.
Well, public education is great, but the problem is the way that it's structured so that to get people habitual to just spouting and parroting information without making their own connections to it. They're reinforcing other people's connections and just spouting out what they've connected. And that could be dangerous because that parroting. It's where you have people like, say, when it comes to climate change, let's just say, okay? And you have the very liberal part of the movement where they shout, you got to listen to the science, but that's not what they mean. And neither is it what's being shown. What they're saying is listen to scientists. But the thing is, that's just listening to someone else. You're not literally looking at the science, right?
Okay.
So it can be used in a way to like obfuscate actual what should be thought to be done if you want to have an understanding about something. You don't listen just to people. You can actually inform yourself of the ways that they know how they got there and figure that out. Figure out the science, really literal science, use that. Go look at that. Understand that. Don't just listen to someone speaking what they thought about the science. Because that's how propaganda works, is if you just listen and parrot someone else's connection.
Well, and I think you've just, touched on why these days is like the golden age of propaganda. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I did.
Right, yeah. You and I are both a little older, that we had our youth 20 and 25 years ago.
I'm a lot older than a younger generation that is,
So A, we had our youth back when things were, a little easier, and B, we just had time to like take shit in.
Yeah. And actually find the conclusion that there's something going wrong here too, because for a while there I wasn't even political for a long time.
It's funny, I'm less political now than I used to be. For a long time I was very, off and on, because I find that life gets very distracting periodically.
Well, especially if no one around you is very politically, forthcoming.
Or if everybody around you is a Fox News conservative. Or if almost everybody you know is a Fox News conservative and you don't feel like having that argument today.
See, in my case, it was just nobody talked about that at all.
That's so weird.
Yeah, no one acknowledged anything political.
So what did they talk about?
Just different things, hobbies, just like life. Like it has nothing to do politically, which is weird to me.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Which is really weird.
That's like not exactly small talk, but not small talk,
Yeah.
Like, hey, can you believe the crazy things they're doing now, right? These days, like,
Well, not even the crazy things that are happening that resulted from politics, like nothing like that.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, wow. Yeah. That's crazy.
right? Looking back, it seems crazy to me. It really does. But that's how it was for me. And yeah, I stumbled onto being more political because I literally stumbled into it. I finished work. I finished my schooling for my trade school, right? So I was working at the hospital, and I wanted to not just stay in that position as an MDR tech. I wanted to do different. I was thinking about adding on to that sort of different techniques. Like, okay, I was going to do nuclear medicine or maybe some pathology with brain sciences and stuff. But yeah, so I actually got into it because I picked up a book thinking it had something to do with neurology, and it wasn't. And it was actually Noam Chomsky, because he was considered to be like a linguistic, right? And I wanted to get into the understanding the brain more. And I picked up I didn't realize he was actually a political theorist at all. I had no idea who he was. I just knew that he was like, yeah. So I picked up Necessary Illusions, thinking about the brain structures and how it functions within a democratic society. And then I started reading it, and I fucking read the whole books. And I was like, what?
Wow. I had no idea about any of this. Holy shit.
Yeah, exactly. That radicalized me pretty fucking straight off the bat. I was like,
oh,
what?
wow.
I've never been around people that actually spoke on topics of politics.
Right.
So that was really just like something completely new to me. And after that, well, I mean, I needed to know more. So like
that's cool.
Yeah, so I literally, when I say I stumbled into being like a political consciousness, I literally stumbled into it thinking I was good. I picked up something that wasn't actually had to do with neurology or, you know, the neurosciences.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that really hit me over the head when I started to read it.
But good on you for not putting it down, I guess. If you were, I
found it super fascinating and interesting and shocked and a little mad and like all these new things and feelings. I was like, oh hell no. Have you read that book, by the way? It's a good book.
No, I haven't read any of this.
I think that he turned very liberal. I think it down the line though, like because that book came out in the 80s.
Yeah. God, Good and Evil might be the last.
Yeah. Ever since
this might be the last book I read when I had my son, because like you can see I was highlighting it and like going through and like making notes, and then it like suddenly stops.
Yeah.
Like about 10 pages in, it just like kind of suddenly stops. I'm like, oops, I think I know what happened there. I got interrupted. Well, almost 20 years ago now. It's not his fault, but like, oh.
Yeah.
So many books I haven't read.
See, I went like totally full on into it because I was just so new and different and really shocking, because I never like actually thought about like most of the shit at all. So, and then by reading it, things started to like, it made me take a step back and looked at everything on a whole. I'd be like, that makes so much sense.
Right. Paradigm shift.
Yeah, that really was.
Yeah, nice. Sometimes those are really
and then I've been a fucking thorn in everyone's side because I'm always getting political.
Well, there's gotta be one in every crowd, right?
Right.
Somebody should say these things and try and raise awareness. No, I agree. Like, although I have to admit that my personal like political journey began in a much more emotional place when I was like 10 or 11 years old, and I just had this burning desire to find out Rush Limbaugh is an asshole, right? Yes.
Yeah. See. Yeah. Back then, I probably wouldn't even known who Rush Limbaugh was.
Right.
Which is different.
Yeah. I like I say, I come from this background where there was a lot of political talk that went on, and a lot of it was like a lot more conservative than and I just like, I don't know. Yeah. I have since decided for myself, and I think the culture at large pretty much agrees with me that yes, Rush Limbaugh was an asshole, and long since moved on. But that was my starting point. Like,
yeah, it's interesting how different sort of backgrounds we come from to get to a very similar point, though.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, it seems like the point the water would settle. I don't know. It just seems like the natural
it seems if you
conclusion.
use logic, that's where you would. I would assume you'd go.
Right? Yeah. Right. Yeah. A lot like, and I do occasionally run into some other people who seem to have like come to a fairly like similar conclusion themselves, and I'm like, yep.
Oh yeah. But then there are times when that completely divulged, really, because like right now, a lot of people with the whole Israel thing within the.
Oh yeah.
But like, okay, at first it was just radical anti-capitalist, but then they had the trans thing, and I'm like, what? That makes no fucking sense. In any like with what your whole foundation of beliefs, right?
Actually,
and how you conclude how society is run as how capitalist societies run goes against completely the material.
Right. Contradicting yourself. Stop. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And I saw the funniest thing the other day. Let me say about this game.
Okay.
So, like these liberal Democrat fanboys who are just like, well, they're just Democrat fanboys. They love to talk about, liberal talking points and da 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 da. And they're like at least a couple steps down this like chain of food chain, right? They're like Kyle Kulinski fanboys, if you remember who that is. I talk about him so often.
I know exactly the type that you're talking about.
Okay. So they were talking about ContraPoints last week. Do you remember who that is?
Oh, I know who ContraPoints is.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
Okay. They were criticizing ContraPoints. And then they had a sequel video at the beginning of which they said, well, gosh, that last video about ContraPoints got flagged and we're not really sure why, but we had to take it down. And I'm like, I can tell you why. Because you're criticizing a trans person and you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter why. And that trans person in particular, I've noticed.
Yeah.
Why the fuck is that? I don't know. Do I think that ContraPoints is some kind of amazing, like, mastermind?
No,
absolutely fucking not. I think it's something more along the lines of like
a lot of the whole Democratic elite leadership, very pro-Israel, just like the right is an elite institutional sort of understanding. And so going against that is a big no-no because it goes along the principles of like cancellation, right? You have to cancel people for speaking about negatively on it, just like trans. So they really go well together, and they're now noticing not because they're going against trans, but against Israel.
Oh, it's one of my favorites.
That's okay.
Can you see him?
No.
No? Oh, the path there?
Oh, yeah.
Right here.
Yep.
Oh, my gosh. What are you doing in the middle of my path, you weirdo? I don't know what he's doing. He's like burying his tail in the dirt. I'm sorry. I'm such a nerd.
That's okay.
I love these things so much.
Get distracted by an insect.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm a true lover of nature, and like I'd never seen one of those things before. And I was like, what is this thing? It looks like it's a bee, but it's not a bee. Like, what the fuck am I seeing? Like, I thought I was having a stroke one day. Because, I don't know. I thought I'm in my mid-40s just about, and you'd think you'd seen all the bugs. I don't know.
We don't have those here, I don't think. So, there you go.
No, right. But I've lived here for over 10 years. Anyway.
Well, that could also be the effect of climate change.
Yeah.
Because a lot of species are trying to move around to get to the environment that they're adapted to, and we're changing that adaptation, and they cannot evolve fast enough to, be suitable for that change. They cannot adapt to that change so fast.
Right. No, I know. And Tennessee is like, this is weird because, and I may have said this on the channel before, but like 20 years ago almost now, in like 2000, it was literally 20 years ago. I went to Florida and I lived in Florida for a year and a half. And there's this thing that happens in Central Florida where like, it's real humid, right? It's muggy, it's Florida.
Yeah.
And then every day, like almost clockwork, almost every day between like 2 and 4 in the afternoon, it would rain for 20 minutes, sometimes less, sometimes a little more.
Yep.
And the humidity would clear, and then the rain would go away, and it would be, dry again. It would
Yep.
It started doing that here in the summertime in Tennessee.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is literally Florida weather.
Yeah.
Like, from my own personal observation, this is Florida weather in Tennessee.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
kind of
even
crazy.
right now, it's so warm and it's not wet enough. This is a temperate rainforest, but they've been really, really going at it to try to extract, to remove, cut down all the forests and go massively mining and really detrimentally destroying the nature around British Columbia, like really badly, like really, like they've got a hyper focus on this province. At this point.
And this is where
they're making laws where they don't have to look at the possibility of regulations, that they can bypass regulations. They made a law stating that they don't have to, account for anything. They can bypass regulations all, which is crazy.
That is.
And they're just because they're trying to open up for all these exploitative projects. And
I was surprised at the idea. I'm surprised by, this book is, talking about how the idea, like this really strong notion, like a cultural notion of Mother Nature as a woman, like survived like really late into like Christendom and like into even the modern era.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised by that.
Yeah.
And I just wonder, how do we feel about that? Because on the one hand, we're talking to each other, by a portal enabled by rare earth minerals that were like mined by children in Africa. On the other hand, I don't support that, so I don't know what to do.
Like, what do you mean? Like,
what do you mean? What do I mean? I
like,
mean,
what do you mean? Like, what do I think of the connection between female and earth? Or,
I guess, do you feel that this was a loss? Do you feel that, like, does this old philosophy hold any value in light of the fact that, yeah, we are destroying our environment, and that is bad, and we know that that's bad.
I've already said this, right? I've already said this, that I feel that there is a particular way that it works, and there's a particular way that it doesn't. We are not literally Earth. The world, Earth, is not literally female, but they're both experiencing a form of exploitation. And that's really detrimental to our own survival as an actual species. So, yeah, there should be a connection, but there shouldn't be such a connection that it could be turned around by using frameworks and storytelling about how the connection means natural femininity, or the Mother Earth being literal female, and then rape is good. Like,
right? Yeah, I mean, maybe rape's just bad. So I mean,
yeah. Like, there needs to be, like, you can't. The truth is, Earth is not literally a woman. That's just the truth, right? But the truth is also we're being exploited in very similar ways. And there needs to be that understanding, so that, because both need to be taken into account about the danger, the sort of destructive danger sort of practices we're actually enabling on Earth. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Obviously, I guess just so. How would you frame that then? How do you think? I
shouldn't need to frame it. I should just speak the truth, because I'm very literal. I have trouble. I'm not a good framework. You're the storyteller. I should ask you that.
Okay. Well, I'm framing it as a novel. I guess that's what I want to just sit here and talk about my book.
See, I'm not good with storytelling. I'm not good with that. I'm just not. I'm not good with framing frameworks and storytelling, and I'm very logical in my thinking even. So all I think of is state exactly what things are. That's all I got to go on.
Okay. No,
because
yeah,
I'm not
ecology.
Good with framework. I'm not good with story, and I'm not good with any of that shit.
Right. Ecology and Mother Earth are like giant themes in my novel. So, yeah.
But then you also don't want to step into a point where it becomes cringe. Gaia, Mother Earth, like it, like don't like that's what I mean, right?
Okay, right, yeah, no, yeah. And actually, I do go there, but in the form of somebody where like it's supposed to be over the top.
Yeah,
and that's the point that I'm trying to make with a couple of these characters is that they're like super
but you're
off
actually
base.
writing a story though, so that's supposed to be that hyperbolic. But when talking to
Right,
people,
right.
when trying to put out like information, I cannot framework it in a way that I can't come up with that. That's just something I'm not good at doing. So I just need to be literal and say the like factual information that I see it. That's the only way I can do it. I'm not very creative.
Okay. And that's just what, I think that we struggle. I know I definitely do. I have truth as a high core value, as Brett would say. And I struggle sometimes because you do. You want to just be able to go up and explain shit to people and have them go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And how that fix it. And it just so often doesn't work that way.
I mean, I've convinced people of things.
Right. No, I'm not saying it's not possible.
Yeah.
But a lot of the
just
time.
depends on how good you are at actually giving information in a way that's just useful. Like I think both ways are useful. It's just how if you're able to put forth that in a way that people can be receptive to it.
No, yeah, and I'm like a big fan of nonfiction. Don't get me wrong, and like reference books and stuff, like flat facts. Yeah, don't sugarcoat it. Just give it to me. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I think both work though, because I enjoy both. I just know I'm good at one and extremely bad at the other. That it can't come from me because I'm just not good at explaining things in that particular way, or trying to make people receptive in that particular way. I'm just not good at that creative aspect. It's not how like I'm just used to like learning things myself or whatever. But that doesn't mean I don't enjoy it or that I wouldn't be receptive to someone else referring to me as such in that way. I'm just not good at that creation aspect of it. I'm much better at retaining facts and giving things out factually. That's my strength. So I'm going to lean into all that. You should lean into the stories if you're good at that, because that's not going to come from me.
I think a lot of people do enjoy the holistic approach, though.
Yeah.
And I think it helps. It can help a message like persist to attach it to like a character who people love.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm self-consciously trying to do.
Yeah. Which is great. Like, which is if that's something that you can do, like have a strength at, I think go for it, because that's not everyone like who can do that. I can't do that. I'm not good with that, creating that like that in that aspect. I have no ability to really create and make it moving, make it make sense. My brain just doesn't function that way. It makes it harder.
Oh my God. But it's like, oh my God, it's like, it's so much frustrating. Like I had this thing happen recently where like I leveled up in my understanding of the stories. So now I have to go back over my manuscript and like tweak things. And I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. It's going to take forever.
Well, it's for me, even the idea of creating a scene, like where is it going to happen? Like where, like what is like all of that. That part, I just don't.
And this is the part where I cheat, where like
stuff like that.
70+% of the scenes in this book just came to me and just like played out like a movie in my head, and I just wrote the shit.
There you go. That does not come to me. That like I'm just like, well,
At least like, you understand what I mean when I say that it played out like a movie in my head.
Yes, I understand
that. Because when I say hyper fantasia, I really mean like shit just bubbles up from fucking nowhere. Whole fucking novels just bubble up from fucking nowhere.
I'm like you in the imagery and stuff, but usually what I create in my head is just scenarios that play on like the logic of something, and then what someone else will say to me, and then I can have a rebuttal. So like I have like scenes in my head that happen, but there's still conversations that start with something. I can't. It doesn't get created something out of nothing to me.
Well, and you really probably aren't real worried about like the setting of your scene, right? It's just like two people talking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which like I think most people do that. You like practice conversations and Like, I think that's
Yeah.
pretty normal. Yeah.
And sometimes in scenes, but in my head that go by, or scenes that are already derived from something that's happened already. And then it goes in a different, like, if I can see it at first, the first structure, then I go on a tangent somewhere else completely different, but I don't create out of nothing that structure, you know?
Right. Yeah.
That's troubling to me. That's hard for me to do.
Well, see, I want to say, I can't even say, I don't even want to take credit for it. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't sit down and have this come to me easily. No, I didn't sit down at all. It just kind of fell on me, and I was like, oh, fuck, I guess I'm writing a novel. Oh, my God. Like, it's just one of those mysterious things. So, yeah, I don't even, I mean, it's a good thing that I can, write fairly well. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I was worried this morning, like, oh my God. Have you heard of the Age of Scorpius?
Yeah, we talked about it before.
Okay. Well, apparently, like, somebody was reading, like, a snippet of it and something I was listening to this morning, and I was just sitting there going, like, it's not great, but it's not horrible. Like, am I like, I don't know. Do you ever get scared? Like I should be more easily critical. Like, if I don't know what's wrong with that, am I making the same mistake? Like, whatever it is.
Oh, well, see, I don't try to create, so I wouldn't have in mind to say, am I making the same mistake? But I could easily tell the mistakes, I find.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you read my manuscript. If it was that awful, you'd let me know. If it was kind of awful.
And I do let you know when things don't make sense, I think.
Right, yeah, and, like, please do. Like, God, this, like, what a nightmare scenario to put your thing out and have it be universally panned because nobody bothered to tell you it was bad beforehand. Like, no.
Yeah, no, things stand out to me quite like easily. Like for random reference, like the freckles thing. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah.
Because I didn't know it was freckles. I'm like, is she popping a pimple? Like, what is she doing?
Right. No, and, like, having the very linear logic, literalness of you, like, looking at it. Because, like I say, I'm more abstract, so I'm kind of being more abstract, maybe.
That are being written that I am, like, processing are literally giving me trouble imaging it because the image keeps needing to change when I'm reading the words, meaning that, like, it's not distinct enough for me to have that image that is, like, that is very fluid at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, her age keeps changing while she's on the horse, and then the horse thing that she's on keeps changing, and then they're like, what's going on here?
Oh my God. That scene. Oh, I wish I could cut it. I hate it so much.
And also, even small things stand out. Like when you said about the fire, I'm like, but that image in my head shows me that, like, actually a scenario that actually can occur. You need to make it more apparent that there's something going on there. Remember?
Right.
So it's really easy for me, I find, to pick on those details.
The other thing is, like, I'm really super happy about the change in genre because now if the magic is, like, kind of questionable, it doesn't matter because it's not a fucking fantasy story. Yay.
Yeah.
It being a little more head scratchy and a little more subtle and a little less on the nose is like,
Yeah.
A-okay for a psychological thriller, I think. You're supposed to be questioning reality in a fucking psychological thriller, right?
Yeah.
I don't have to. Oh my God. My relief is just sort of endless at having made this really obvious discovery.
What's interesting is that I hate, like, postmodernism and subjective, like, interpretation of shit, except when it comes to certain narratives in stories, like fictional stories, and like, say, music. I find that, like, that's really, I think, is the only place it should be, really. So yeah, so I can read both, but even more surrealist aspects need to make some form of sense. Like, there needs to be a
coherence to,
even if it's very surrealist, a coherence within that surrealism.
Right, so that there can be a message embedded there, because otherwise it's just noise.
And it's not just surrealist for the sake of being surrealist and being weird.
Right. Because you are looking for the meaning, to go back to the theme here of our entire day.
Or you're not even needing to look. You're supposed to let yourself feel that expression through the imagery that it actually
you're tuning in the signal.
That's why it needs to make sense still, even if in a surrealist sort of fashion.
You're looking for the signal in all of the noise. And if it's just noise, then you're, on a fruitless search, and the artist has led you nowhere. And what was the point of all of that?
Yeah, then you're not doing it well. I should I should feel it and see it and understand it, even though it does, just on a very basic level, doesn't seem like it means anything.
Right.
It should be derived not through just words, but also just imagery that comes from the words, or from, say, like the music. You know how some people see music in colors? I see music in color.
Really?
Yeah, colors. Music have certain tones give off for me certain colors in my mind.
Oh, in your mind. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you hear music and then you feel the color, and you see the color that it brings. It gives you the same feeling as the color.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like some things can feel like more like a greenish blue, maybe a purpley blue, and then others will like feel more like pinky orange, or like there's a weird tone to it that is associated with colors.
So do these colors have like emotional associations?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not anything distinct, but in general, yeah. So, some people relate to that. I don't know if you do or not. That's something that I do relate to.
A little bit. I don't think as much as you do, no. Because again, though, I'm very like music. Like I have musical training. Like I play several instruments and like sang forever. So like I'm just more approaching it from
no, I do. I've played piano all my life.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I just tend to think of like the instrumentation.
Well, it's just something that people either have or they don't. So like it's just something, the same thing with the imagery, or not having that imagery when you're like,
I think it's just like when I think of like us, like brass, I think of like the warm yellowy color of brass, and so I think like there's like, you know what I mean? I think there's bleed over there. I don't think that's
but then you hear music and that has a brassy tone to it.
Like, I'm not gonna say if you pointed something out to me, I wouldn't know what you were talking about.
Yeah, but you don't feel like certain feelings of that, of like certain colors being like very, in terms of even music having a tone that is more like colored. I don't know. All I know is that there's an actual word for it. I forget what that word is, but this is something that not everyone has a connection associations. Well,
is it not synesthesia?
Have a very visceral association to color and sound.
Mm-hmm. Is it not synesthesia? I don't. Do they actually see colors, like hallucinate colors or something? I don't know. Okay, cool.
Not realizing it's like it's like an imagery, like you would when you have images go by in your head when you're reading. It's the same thing. When you hear it, you see those colors as images.
Right. Okay.
So I forget the word for it, but I know that. What was it? Who was it? Oh, it was Radiohead. Radiohead did an album based off the colors called In Rainbows. Because all the songs that all the songs they created had a certain color. So, yeah.
That's what that album was about? Wow.
That's what the album title is about. The In Rainbows was the titles, not the titles, but the associations with the songs to all the colors of the rainbow.
Wow. Okay.
That's why it's called.
No, I guess I don't have this, because I would probably know that if I did.
Yeah. Yeah, I was curious because I know that some people do, some people don't, right? I don't think the majority do. I think that's the majority that don't, but because you have such a vivid imagery, I thought maybe. Yeah. That's why I asked.
No. Yeah, I don't have that one, I guess. That's cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Learn something new every day. I love that.
Yeah. It sounds more fun than mine, just having some, random story drop on my head, and then I have to spend the rest of the decade. I have to spend the rest of the decade trying to sort all this shit out. I just being able to see music in color, that sounds like it would make a great painting, like, so that's
Yeah,
what,
it would. I could totally do a painting just off the like music. I could totally do
yeah,
like a surrealist painting, definitely off music, using just color to show you
yeah.
what it looks like as color, the music.
And as much as I love music, I would probably just have like an endless series of paintings. Be like, I loved this song, and here's what it made me see in my mind, like.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool. No, it's funny. Music is really bodily sensations. There's a lot of bodily sensations go on for
Yeah.
me with music. Like lots of chills and, stuff like that.
Yeah, but yeah, I see colors. Definitely, I see
Butterflies.
colors with the music.
Neat.
Yeah. Like when the music comes, I'll like point to be like and tell you exactly what color is coming from it.
Wow. Wow. I know Lord is
Sometimes it's
another
more.
one
It's
who.
usually more than one. Sometimes it's one, but a lot of the times it's associated color with another color, and it's kind of like not to like mashed together, but sort of flows together at different
Yeah.
aspects of the music and different parts of it. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how prevalent it is, but I haven't really. I don't know how many people have that association. That's yeah. I haven't really found any in my personal life that have that. So I thought I'd ask.
Yeah, no, sorry. I don't think I have that one,
That's
but
okay. But what time is it?
it
Because
is 2:30, aka
I need to
11:30.
start getting my shit together because I got to go buy a new fucking hard drive.
Oh my God, that's right. Oh my God. Okay. I'm
Yeah, I
sure I
just
have.
realized how much time we spent talking today. It was great conversations, though, really interesting stuff,
Yeah, I'm
and really
so
funny.
glad.
Started with the nihilism and the antlers. That was great. That was beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm really happy with the way that video turned out, and I hope I once again I have no idea what next month's video is going to be at this moment, but
Well,
we'll get
time will
there.
tell.
Yeah, and so I guess we'll do this again next Friday, though. At
Yep, starting chapter 2 with farm, fen, and forest, European ecology in transition.
Ooh,
Yeah. Yeah.
sounds like a lot.
It is going to be a lot, and I am super excited for it. Yeah, it seems like Joe
Yes, she had to go.
familiar with the book too, so maybe she'll come back
Yeah.
and have another great conversation with us.
Right, yeah, that'd be awesome. And I imagine if we could get her and Sweet Sea Monster on at the same time, we might actually have two
Yeah, we'd be set.
people following along. Oh my gosh, we might have a real book club going.
Yeah.
Scary.
So, all right. Thank you, everyone, and I'll see you all next time.
Thank you for all your reading, honey, and I'll see you next week.
Yeah, bye.
Bye, everybody. Bye, guys.